Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Oh, we got all sorts of energy right now in the building.
Yeah, we do. All hopped up on adrenaline.
That's what happens, man. We go down to the TV studio. We do a little TV work, a little radio work, a little social media work all in one. It's all about Yannick Ngakoue today on the wall that says it all. And looking forward to a really good illustration coming up. I think we might try to do that around 4 o'clock today. Kind of move it around a little bit in case you don't catch the show. I think we've had it at 5 o'clock before and 5:15. Let's move it up and try 4 o'clock. And the wall that says it all. An illustration of not just how good Yannick Ngakoue is, how much better he is getting, and also why they should pay him.
There we go. Hey, listen, there's been a speech bubble behind you for the past 4 or 5 months now, Brent, and the speech bubble does not change. It says pay Jan, and it will say that until Jan gets paid.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there is such a – Todd Walsh talked about it today, the way this guy handles himself and what he's been able to do. And we've talked at length about it, you know. I mean, and now that we have an illustration, and this is not fair to Yannick Ngakoue. This isn't why I'm saying it. But we have an illustration of there's a big – feeling in the city that Jalen Ramsey did not handle his situation the best he could have. So now you have that, and it's up against a situation like a Yannick Ngakoue where it feels like he's handling it internally and externally about as well as you can. And that's just reality right now. That's the perception of it, and it might even actually be reality that one handled it not so great and one is handling it really well. Listen, Jalen's going to be out there. He's going to get paid, and he's going to do good things because he's a good player. Now let's hope Yannick Ngakoue is going to be in Jacksonville for a long time. We'll see if that happens. As we talked about yesterday, this has nothing to do with trade stuff, this conversation today. No. It's more about what he did against Cincinnati. Shows, one, that he's healthier, probably. Shows, two, that he's grown a lot. And three, I just think instinctually he's probably a really good football player. Something you can't teach, you can't see all the time on film, even in college probably. Yeah. But as you grow as an NFL player, I think that becomes more and more evident.
Well, with that, and I think something that's always been in his case, the fact that he plays with reckless abandonment. And I say that in the most positive way as I can, you know, and like, listen, that you can't teach that. Right? You can teach the X's and O's. You can teach a lot of things with the hand placement and the footwork. You can teach all that. But the mentality, the get off, the aggressiveness, you cannot teach those type of things. And actually another guy, speaking of that, is Taven Bryan, who I think has a lot of aggressiveness and the good get off as well. He's getting his first start this Sunday.
Yeah, he will. And that's because of Marcel Darius. And that's a big storyline to open up the show here now. Marcel Darius is a good player. Yeah. You're not going to get a lot of love, right? He's not going to be the splash play guy. But you've said it countless times already this year, even though he was hurt. Remember, he had the elbow injury and played through a little bit of that abdominal injury last week. But you've noticed on tape that he's played really good football, even if it doesn't always stick out. I mean, even Calais Campbell has played really good football the last 2 weeks, even though it doesn't stick out in terms of splash plays. So not everybody's talking about those. More guys are talking about Josh Allen because he got another sack. That means 5. People are talking about Yannick Ngakoue, the pick 6, and Ronnie Harrison. But those guys in the middle, Calais and Marcel Darius, have been playing well, and now Darius is out probably 4 to 6 weeks.
And the thing with Darius, you know, I've been campaigning this since training camp, and if there was an award you can give a guy that has the fastest get off in the NFL, I would be campaigning for that award for Marcel Darius because I truly believe he has one of the fastest get offs in the NFL.
When you say get off, you're talking about first step.
Exactly. Well, it's not only the first step, Brent, it's also the hand placement. It's the explosiveness from his first step to his hands coming up and putting his hands on the guard or usually on the guard or the tackle as well. But with Marcel Darius, man, and it's like you said, he kind of gets underappreciated. Same thing with Avery Jones. I've said many times on this show, I feel like Avery Jones is probably the most underappreciated player on the entire Jaguars roster. Yeah. Because for what they asked him to do, and Tyson Alualu was another guy under that when he was here, what they ask him to do necessarily doesn't show up in the stat line all the time, okay? But you know, to the more experienced football fan, to the teammates in his locker room that watch the film, they understand what he's doing. You know, whether it's taking on the double teams, whether it's redirecting the runs into a different gap, or whether it's just keeping the guard off the linebackers. I mean, the linebacker's best friend is a good 1 technique and a good 3 technique. And I think all things considered, Marcel Darius has been one of those guys this year.
Yeah, and I think that if they could afford an injury in a place, it feels like even though he's playing good, I'm not saying they'll be able to take the place of what he's been able to do, but they have bodies on the interior. They even have flexibility because of a guy like Calais Campbell who can even move in there. So if you think about some of the bodies that they have, it's Avery Jones. They've had Marcel Darius. They have Taven Bryan. They have Dontavius Russell, the 7th-round pick. They have Calais Campbell, right? So they have guys that they can put in there and feel okay about. And feel like they made investments in these guys and they're on the team for a reason. They're not just guys they're picking up off the street to come and plug and play. Different story at linebacker. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I think if you're going to have to weather an injury, and every team does, the Jaguars have already had to weather Nick Foles, and they have to get guys back like Marquise Lee and Cam Robinson coming off the ACL, and they've had to do those kind of things. Well, this is one in the course of a season I think you can at least absorb. And the good news is for the stretch run, he'll probably be healthy and ready to go in the month of December, it looks like, or at least the last few weeks of December if all goes well, and be able to have a finishing push and maybe even be more fresh because he's an older guy now. I mean, he's not old, but he's an older guy. So if they're still in this thing, they're going to get a big boost, much like they did a couple years ago when they traded for him in the second half of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it falls on a couple guys, mainly Taven Bryan. And I think if you would have asked me maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, Marcel Darius gets hurt, how are you feeling? I'd probably be a little nervous, right? Because Taven hasn't really showed us much, during the regular season so far. Well, I think Taven kind of had his breakout game against the Bengals. He was causing a lot of chaos in the backfield. He showed good get off. He showed good, his ability to rip off the tackles and things of that nature. So I think Taven right now, listen, anytime you lose a starting 3 technique, it's not a good situation. It's not good for anybody. But the fact that Taven is starting to surge a little bit now, I think he's starting to gain a little more confidence and everything. I think that's a good sign for the Jaguars. So I'm not saying it's any ideal time to lose Marcel Darius, but I think at least now we have a guy in Taven Bryan who you at least feel pretty comfortable with.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're going to talk a lot more Jags. In fact, in a couple minutes, we're going to start off we already start off the show. It's not an introduction to the show. We just go. We get right into it.
You better
believe it.
But
the next segment of the show, right, to get after more of the Jags talk, I want to ask you about something that is an interesting question in my opinion, and I don't know if it's glaring, is where are the Jags' weaknesses? Like weaknesses to the point where you're like, uh-oh. And so I want to talk a little bit about that coming up in the next segment because they have actually, if you look at some of the things now, you're weak. I'm not talking about like, okay, red zone and third down. Yeah, they haven't been very good in that. I get it. The numbers show they're 30% on third down, not good enough. League average is like 39 to 41%. So they got to be better. I'm talking about personnel-wise. Like where do they feel like, we can't stack up against a team here or there? And I think that's an interesting way to look at this football team now with a part of the schedule that at least is favorable and controllable for the Jacksonville Jaguars now that they've weathered so many of these storms. So that's coming up in a moment. First of all, should we have some Johnny Cash on the show today? Because, we are like in black. I didn't even realize
I was wondering, why? Are we going to interview his daughter or something like that today on the show? No, we're in all black.
We either go, what else? What else is Men in Black? Is that like Will Smith?
Yeah, that's Will Smith. Well, let's be honest. I rock a black T-shirt probably every other day. You knew I was coming. But
do I look skinnier?
I think you look good, man.
Because isn't black supposed to make you look skinnier? Isn't that why you wear it?
It is very slimming. No, Brent, I don't wear black because it's very slimming. A few reasons. Number one, because black is classic, and I'm definitely a fashionista. You know that. And also, if you sweat, you can't see it because I sweat a lot.
That's a good point. Yeah. That is true. I don't think about that enough.
Yeah.
The body fat is getting up there.
Well, especially in here.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah. It's like a sauna in here.
Yeah, we could probably cool that down a little bit. But anyway, so maybe some Johnny Cash on the show just because we are Men in Black today.
I like that.
We're in the black. But how about the Nationals, man? Holy cow.
Do you still think they're going to win in 6 games, or are they going to be like in 4 games now? That's ridiculous.
They might be. This does happen. Now, this would be really impressive against the Houston team and that staff to be able to – it already is impressive.
Yeah.
But to steamroll them, there are teams that have done that. And just when you get hot, you get hot. And you got to remember, if you go back to the wild card, they were an error in right field away from being eliminated.
Thanks for reminding me, Brent. Yes, I remember that very well.
Yes,
Thank
that's right.
you.
That was your team.
Yes, it was.
They haven't missed a beat yet since. Sometimes I say this a lot about the NCAA tournament. It's like if you're a 15 seed or a 14 seed, maybe even a 12 or 13, and you survive that terrible game where you almost get upset by that. Well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say. I mean, you're 2 or 3 or 4 seed, and you avoid the upset from a 13, 14, 15 seed. And if you survive that, sometimes that's like your worst game, and you got away with it. It's survive and advance, and then you cruise.
Yeah.
And then you remember, like, didn't they almost lose to, like, Norfolk State? You're like, yeah, they did, but they played really good. That's what the Nationals are right now. The Nationals, they didn't lose to almost Norfolk State. Milwaukee's a little better than that. But they almost didn't survive the wild card round.
Yeah.
And now they are just steamrolling everybody and playing with all sorts of confidence.
And here's my question to you. You know, I mean, you're obviously the baseball guy. I watch it, I follow it, but the Brewers aren't in it, so it's kind of like, you know, I'm a little bitter, I'll be honest, about the Washington Nationals right now. It's like watching an ex-girlfriend become president of the United States of America, all right? It's just, it just sucks. Like, I have to say it everywhere I go, and it's not fun. But from your perspective, Brent, because we have a case here, listen, Washington's a good team. Don't get it twisted, all right? They have talent. You said it yourself. They have great hitters. But I think you'd agree with me here, top to bottom, including the pitching staff, Houston probably has more talent
they're
than
better
Washington.
team.
So here's my question to you. Would you rather be the team, because Washington, no one was hotter in August, it felt like, than the Washington Nationals.
Yeah.
You know? So would you rather have the team that's on the heater, you know, that's on the roll coming into the playoffs? Or would you rather have just, you know, the overly talented team like the Houston Nationals? Not to say they weren't hot in August either. I mean, they've been hot all season. But no one was hotter than Washington Nationals.
I think I'd rather have a hot team.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes the hot team is also the most talented team.
True.
But I'd rather have a hot team that feels good about themselves and doesn't feel like they're going to lose anybody. They could bring in the 1927 Yankees right now, and I think Washington would feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
And by the way, Washington is really talented. I think the view on Washington has been skewed, one, because Harper's gone, so that was their team, and two, because they got off to such a bad start and nobody was talking about them. I think people sleep on what they have. You know, we talked about this earlier. Strasburg has been put to the cow pasture in his career because he didn't early on live up to everything he was supposed to be.
Guy had a lot of hype. Yeah.
Well, look at him now. He's pitching well, and in the postseason, he's been fantastic if you look at the numbers. And then nobody just knows, like, Rendon, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know this until they said it on the broadcast. You know, Howie Kendrick from West Nassau obviously had the big hit against the Dodgers. Over the last 3 years, if you combine the batting averages, he leads all of baseball. I would have never guessed it.
Yeah.
Like Ty said to me, it's like, Ty, if you had 100 people guess that, nobody would.
No.
Like 100 guesses, nobody would even be able to figure it out.
Not
I said,
even
I'm not
close.
even sure his parents would know it. I mean, seriously. So that they are good, but people don't talk about them because
True.
they do talk about the Scherzers and the Strasburgs, but they don't talk any about the hitters, and they all talked about Bryce Harper.
You're right.
So I don't say it's not as far apart on paper as people indicated it was.
Yeah.
But the Astros are better on paper. I
Of
mean,
course.
you're not going to talk me out of that. But I'll take the team that's on a roll, and I think that's proven to be right so far. Speaking of a roll, Tiger Woods got going yesterday, too. How fun was that? We're talking Jags when we come back on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy today. The chance for an afternoon shower. Highs in the mid to upper 70s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds that guarantees you a $500 gift card if they can't beat anybody's price on a diamond.
Vida de Louis, a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, wants to help our friends in the Bahamas. Hey, everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brent Martineau. Vida de Louis is one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. It's made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jax Beach. But Vida de Louis has friends all over the world, and that includes in the Bahamas. Help us raise money for the Treasure Key Relief Fund and Hopetown Rising.
Check out Vida de Louis on social media and the website VitaDeLouis.com.
50% of all merchandise will go to these funds. Please help Vida de Louis help the Bahamas by going to VitaDeLouis.com.
You know you'd like to add an $80 gift card to your wallet. Well, that's exactly what you can get this October at any of Tire Outlet's 9 locations. We're here to tell you about the Yokohama Fall Rebate at TireOutlet.com. You'll receive up to $80 on a Visa prepaid card or Visa virtual account with your purchase of 4 select Yokohama tires. The Yokohama Fall Rebate offer, only this month. See more rebates and info at TireOutlet.com. Wholesale prices, premium service.
At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. When storms threaten, put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. That means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather. And that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
It's time to chub it up with my favorite wings in the Jacksonville area. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. You want the best wings in town? Mr. Chubby's Wings is the place to go. 2 locations, one on the west side and one in Fleming Island. I've been to both. Then I called the owner up and said, hey, I like the wings so much, I want to endorse them. It's a true story. And here we are. Bring the family on Mondays to the Fleming Island location for 50-cent wings. Tuesdays at the West Side location, it's all-you-can-eat wings. Try the Maple Cajun or the Johnny-style wings. Chub it up at Mr. Chubby's Wings.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
There is one name synonymous with joint replacement excellence, and that name is Heekin of the Heekin Clinic. For 18 years, Dr. R. David Heekin and his staff have been the leader for treatment of hip and knee pain. Eliminating hip and knee pain through advanced surgical and non-surgical techniques has been Dr. Heekin's sole goal since retiring from the Army in 2001. If you're looking to ease your hip and knee pain, schedule an appointment today and call 328-5979 or visit HeekinClinic.com. That's HeekinClinic.com.
Nolik and Wingo are coming to Jacksonville for the Florida-Georgia game.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo. I want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works on Friday, November 1st. To register for your chance to win VIP passes, go to ESPN690.com.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax
on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Really not that concerned about, Nick. I don't have any expectation. I think afterwards I'll just ask him, how do you feel? My focus is going to be on the guys that are playing for New York. So, we have a plan. We put it together. That was kind of the other day when we sat down and then, hey, here's your plan. Go work it. And my focus is getting ready for New York.
That is Doug Marrone, Jaguars head coach, and he's going to get the Foles questions now the next couple of weeks, but got a couple more weeks. I think that's the good part about the Jaguars. They all know that, listen, you can ask the questions. We can see how he looks on the practice field, all those things. But the bottom line is there's nothing to really discuss for another few weeks when it comes to Nick Foles in reality, because it's all speculation until then, unless they just matter-of-factly come out and say, this is it. This is his job. When he comes back, there's no doubt. And I just don't think they would do that. One, because I don't think they want to make Minshew feel like, oh, great, this is it. Yeah,
exactly.
So why do that?
Exactly. I mean, the last thing you want to, if you're Gardner Minshew, the last thing you want to know going into a game is the fact that regardless of how many touchdowns you throw, regardless of what your quarterback rating is, Foles is going to start over you. That's the last thing you want to think about going into a game. So, yeah, I think it's smart on Doug Marrone to, not really disclose that information. It might be different in the locker room, but I guarantee you, and I don't know Doug Marrone personally, but just being around football, I think the last thing you want to do is make it apparent who the starting quarterback is going to be in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Let him have a competition and see who emerges.
All right, here's the question. If you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you would have said backup quarterback is a problem if Nick Foles goes down, if you looked at it back in August.
Yeah.
That's obviously not the case. If you look at this football team that's 3-4 and has a game that, listen, they should win on Sunday. It's the NFL. I get it. You don't always do what you should, but they should win. Yep. They really should. I mean, they're 6-point favorites now over the Jets, and that line, I think, keeps going up and up. So, and you look at the schedule ahead, and, yeah, Houston will be tough. Indianapolis a couple times will be tough, and Tennessee's always tough. But outside of that, there's not a lot that you would say is tough. Like, there's a lot that you'd say, okay, I think we can win that game here in Jacksonville. I think in that locker room, I think we can get that one. But I was thinking about this. 1, because of injuries, 2, because of their schedule and how they might match up with other teams now, and 3, because, quite frankly, I'm not sure how good the Jags are. I'm mixed on it. I think they're pretty good. I don't know if they're very good, but I think they're a pretty good team. And pretty good in the NFL, by the way, means like 8-8. You know, and it could be 9-7 or even a 7-9, which then would you take off the good part if they ended up 7-9. But I think the question is, if you look at their roster, do you see any glaring weaknesses on their roster? And that coincides with kind of what we were talking about the other day from a trade standpoint of who they might even be interested to get. And as I look at it, man, if you just ask me that question, I know people are going to say tight ends. I understand. But I just also don't feel like if you tell me the Jags are not great at tight end, that means they have no chance of winning a football game. I don't think that correlates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they've got enough people at tight end that they can go out and win a game with those tight ends, win a couple of games, make the playoffs. I mean, the year they went in 2017, they didn't have great tight ends. You know, Mercedes Lewis had 5 touchdowns that year, and he was a name people knew, and he had a Pro Bowl on his resume, but he wasn't lighting the NFL on fire. So I understand that's where your mind is going to go. You're going to say, hey, yeah, they have a glaring weakness at tight end. Well, from a roster build standpoint, they do, but I just don't know if it impacts them from a win-loss standpoint.
And look at like the 3 of the 4 teams that were in the finals last year for the playoffs for the NFL. You know, you had the Patriots with Gronkowski. Let's be honest, Gronk was kind of a shell of himself. Now people started to take him seriously, but he wasn't the Gronk of old. You had the Rams with Gerald Everett, who was really like the 4th, 5th option in the passing game, it seemed like, for the Rams. And then you had Watson, Benjamin Watson for the Saints, who, you know, he's up there in age. They didn't really look at him that much. Only team that had a tight end was actually Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and
so
that's a little different than 2 years ago, because 2 years ago, it was like everybody had a tight end.
Yeah.
You know, Minnesota, I think, was in it, right? I think New Orleans.
Saints were in it. Yeah, Watson was having a better year.
Jimmy Graham at that time?
Who's that?
The Saints?
No, they had Ben Watson.
It was Watson in that?
Yeah, Jimmy Graham was in Green Bay.
In 2 years ago?
Yeah. Didn't Jimmy Graham went from the Saints, Seattle to Green Bay?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it was a few years back. But either way, so that's the tight end spot. Yeah, I'm not saying you wouldn't like to have it.
Yeah.
But tight end is probably, do we agree that tight end, you'd love to go, if you could go buy a tight end right now and sign up for a few touchdowns and a few catches a game and 80 yards a game, that would be the position where out of all the positions on the Jaguars, you'd say, yeah, I'll go, if I can go shop for the groceries, I'll go get that grocery.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a lovely thing to have. At the same time, a tight end right now in the league who's I think is top 3, if not the top tight end as far as receiving yards and touchdowns, a guy by the name of Austin Hooper. Plays for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
How are the Falcons doing this year?
1-6.
There you go.
Yeah. That's a good call.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that, but that's a good call.
He's having a good year.
You can tell he plays fantasy football.
You better
and
believe
pays
it.
attention to that roster.
Yeah,
all right. So let's go on. Quarterback right now is not a problem.
Correct.
I really don't think. Now, their offensive line has been maligned at times, but it's not a problem. It's not a problem spot. In fact, I think it could be turning into a little bit more of a strength. Hey, Leonard Fournette leads the AFC in rushing.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I don't have the sacks in front of me, but I don't think they're giving up 1 million sacks. All right. They struggled in the first month with big penalties. That's even subsided in the last few weeks. Even against the Saints, I think that subsided. It wasn't the problem of the offensive line holding in big spots. That's not where they ran into an issue with penalties.
I agree with that.
And they had a bunch of penalties last week. The Jags did. They had 11 of them. But again, I didn't feel like the offensive line was the problem for the penalties.
A lot of was personal fouls on the defense.
Yeah. So I think the offensive line might actually be coming along to build into a strength of this football team. That's debatable.
Yeah.
But again, it's not an eyesore. Tight end's a bit of an eyesore from a personnel roster build standpoint. Your running back's the leading rusher in the AFC. Enough said.
Yeah.
Your quarterbacks are playing good football.
Let's time out, though, for a second, though.
I know. You love the depth.
Well, and let's be honest, though, Brent. I mean, Leonard Fournette has shown a history of, kind of getting the wear and tear on him. And anytime if he's going to run the ball 30 to 35 times a game, let's look at the depth real quick. Now, I like Armstead. I thought he showed a lot in preseason. I think he's a hard-nosed runner, going to lower his shoulder. Now, obviously, maybe he's not the most elusive back, but he's a guy that can get you the capable 3 or 4 yards a pop. Would you want to see him use Armstead more, or are we just going to ride Fournette until the wheels fall off?
Yeah, I think it depends. I think what they'd like to do is get out in front so they could use Armstead a little bit more. But in these games that have been so tight, they have no choice other than to go with their bell cow and Fournette and give him the football. So I understand what they've had to do.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit circumstantial, but I think they would like to get Armstead. If they score that first touchdown against Cincinnati and they go on and they're up 21-3 at the halftime, I think you would see a heavy dose of Armstead in the second half and them grinding that clock out. They just have not been in position to do that. They've tried to spell him a little bit, but not enough, to your point.
Yeah, and let's not forget, I mean, what was Leonard Fournette's best year? Now, granted, this year is pretty good, but what was his best year, obviously?
Well, his rookie year.
2017, correct? Yeah. Well, even 2017, where
he's
he was
on
rushing
pace
the
for
ball
a better year
well.
now, though.
He is, but even 2017, when he was having a hell of a year, helped get the Jaguars, like you said, to the AFC Championship. They also had Yeldon backing him up.
They did.
You know,
they had a lot
they
more.
They also spelled him with, I think Yeldon was Ivory. Yeah, as well. So, you know, they also had the guys kind of rotating a little bit as well.
They
Just
did.
saying.
They did. The difference there now, and Yeldon was a good player, so don't get me wrong. This is not me bad-mouthing Yeldon. I think, obviously, he made his own bed and getting out of town. He's not really doing anything else for Buffalo right now. I don't think he's doing much. So it's not like they miss him. But I think the big thing with Yeldon that never got talked about is his ability for pass protection on third down and to catch it out of the backfield. But Leonard has done a nice job of that.
No, he has.
Leonard has grown into that. Probably something we haven't talked about, nobody's talking about, but his ability to be a three-down back has really changed the game for Leonard Fournette and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not missing your point, though.
Yeah.
Your point is they don't have any depth. No. You don't,
Yeah.
They don't have any depth.
Yeah.
So my question would be this. This week, if Leonard Fournette couldn't play, hamstring or something,
sure,
would you still pick the Jags to win?
I still like the Jaguars' chances.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Yeah, and part of this is because if you look at the competition they have left, now next week you would feel differently against Houston.
Houston, absolutely. Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
A different ball game.
But I also feel a little bit okay if it's a one-game thing for Leonard or a two-game stretch in the last 9 if he had to miss because of their quarterback play and their ability to move the ball through the air. If you had to ask your quarterback to make some plays, something this franchise has not been able to do, but this year they have been able to do, and if they get Foles, they signed him to do that, right? If they get Foles back, they gave him $88 million to be able to do that. So my point is, if you had to say, hey, Leonard, you've been doing a great job, but we're going to take it from here this week. I'm not saying you automatically win, but I think you have the ability to do it, the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
And that happens in the NFL. You want to put it on your quarterback's shoulders sometimes, and I think they would be comfortable doing that. So if Leonard did miss a game, yes, the depth is an issue, much like the tight ends. But right now he's healthy and he's running well. So I can't predict that he's going to get hurt.
No, I'm not saying he's going to get hurt either. I'm just saying I'd feel more comfortable if they had a backup back who was very capable in the pass game as long as the run game as well.
And I think that's a fair question. And the receivers, I mean, enough said, right?
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot there right now.
Exactly. And since we're just kind of on the offense right now, I mean, let's be honest here. If you were to trade for a backup running back or like the receiving type, I feel like there's a lot of them available that it's probably not going to cost you a lot. If you were really, as opposed to a tight end where, let's be honest, there's not a lot of tight ends to go around right now. Like you can go to O.J. Howard in Tampa, but they're probably going to ask a lot from him. I feel like a backup, tailback role is a little more cheaper. But just thoughts.
Well, heck, if they want, they could, tailback-wise. But, receiver-wise, the Jags are in good shape. So we finish up the offense, right?
Yeah.
So the offense, is that, other than tight end, which we both don't really feel like that's costing you football games.
Correct.
From a week in, weeks out standpoint, the Jags don't have a personnel problem on offense.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's just really sticking out to me because the only question mark I would kind of pose here is the blocking tight end in the run game, right? But I feel like, but there are ways that you can kind of hide that a little bit. You can mask
can do that a little.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that. So yeah, I'd agree with you.
Fair enough.
We'll
check out the defense on the other side of this when we come back. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. The question is, do the Jags have some glaring weaknesses personnel-wise that are going to cost them football games with the trade deadline looming in a couple of days? That's next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell.
The Jags defense took a massive hit as defensive tackle Marcel Darius will be off the board for 4 to 6 weeks with a core muscle injury. And speaking of the Jags, they play the one-win Jets this Sunday. This is Calais Campbell explaining why that is a dangerous situation.
Usually when a team gets blown out, they usually come, a lot more focused and locked in that next week. They're going to be locked in and focused, so we're going to have to, definitely come in and handle whatever kind of injury they bring.
And in the World Series, the Nationals took a 2-game lead last night after crushing the Astros at home 12-3. Game 3 is Friday night from Washington. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
There's a lot of reasons for buying flowers for your wife or girlfriend. Birthdays, anniversaries, you're in trouble again. But those are all pretty cliche. How about you get her flowers because she fixed your favorite dinner? Or just because you want to surprise her? No matter the occasion, or no occasion at all, check out Seawalk Custom Florals. They even deliver. Visit SeawalkCustomFlorals.com or call 904-554-0617. And don't forget about your mom either. Seawalk Custom Florals.
Want to hear something crazy? Last month, our friends at Arlington Toyota offered prices up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. Want to hear something really crazy? Arlington is extending the sale. The 2020 Super Sales Event has been extended at Arlington Toyota. So come in today and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. That's up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Camry, it's not $25,555. Now it's only $17,288. That's $17,288 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Camry at Arlington Toyota. How about a 2019 Toyota Corolla? Not $20,485. No, it's $13,888. Yeah, $13,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you get Arlington's $5,000 Advantage Club and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
When the time comes to get your roof replaced, call Big Fish Roofing. We don't require any upfront deposits, and we are locally owned and operated by Jacksonville natives who have built their business on quality and integrity. At Big Fish Roofing, we know your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, so we make sure to deliver a quality project in a timely manner. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing, or give us a call at 904-685-8334.
Hey, boss, explain to me again why we're here at this pumpkin patch in the middle of the night.
I told you, since pumpkin prices have gone through the roof this year, we're gonna swipe these babies so we can sell them and make a fortune.
I don't like it, boss. Why can't we go back to breaking into houses?
Because so many people have discovered Safe Touch security that it's putting us out of business. You know we stay away from Safe Touch houses.
I know, boss, but stealing pumpkins?
You got a better idea, Sunshine? I mean, between Safe Touch's 45-second response time, the two-way communicator...
Boss, wait. What is that? Over there near that big pumpkin.
Oh, no. Is that what I think it is?
Boss, it's a Safe Touch sign. The patch is wired.
Quick, get to the van.
I'm going, boss.
They must have video monitoring. Curse you, Lester Jackson.
Let's get out of here.
Oh, I hate Safe Touch.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
At the 1955 Rose Bowl, Goodyear began providing stunning aerial coverage of college football, forever changing the way the game is experienced. In recognition of its significant contribution, the Goodyear blimp is being inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame as an honorary member. It's the first non-player or coach to ever be inducted. Goodyear is celebrating this honor by reminding you to look forward and make sure you're prepared for the road ahead. Discover more at Goodyear.com. Goodyear, more driven.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
I'm sitting with the defense by the lunch table. He goes, Austin, come over here. I'm like, Alex Smith knows my name. That's pretty cool to start things off with. And then all of a sudden, me and Alex Smith are talking about it. But I'm saying the culture, it manifested on itself.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Percentage shows a lot of different things, not necessarily accuracy, because you watch a film, it's not a bunch of missed balls. I think we're taking shots downfield, and those are going to be lower percentage, but also higher reward. So there's a little give and take there.
That's Gardner Minshew talking about the throws made in a game, and some of his completion percentage the last couple of weeks has really plummeted. I mean, no doubt about that, right? I mean, we were talking about a guy that was up around 69, 70%, and now is 61% overall. But the last 2 weeks, he's been 50% or under. So that's a sign to me that teams are catching up. And there's been more footballs. You know, I raved about this guy the first 5 weeks because I could only remember maybe one play that was even a pass that might have been intercepted. Mm-hmm. Well, now in the last couple of weeks, you've had an interception, and you had about 5 or 6 that maybe could have been intercepted. He's actually been getting a little bit fortunate in that regard. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Coos tripping over us over here. You all right over there? Good. All right. Just making sure.
I thought a prank was about to happen or something.
I don't know what the heck was going on here.
Yeah.
But it is cooler in the studio because we opened the door.
Yeah.
See,
it
Coos takes all the air.
It feels so much better in here. Thank you, Coos.
It does. Yeah, I thought about this today. This is total sidebar. We'll get back to what we're talking about in a moment. But throwing the football on the beach with the kids.
Nice.
Today,
okay.
It was like a little football. Man, I can sling
Toss
those little
pigskin.
footballs, man.
Okay.
You
well,
know?
I mean, I feel like anybody can, but
I know.
But by all means, give yourself a pat on the back
But
if
it
you
also
want.
shows you, like, I see, if I had big hands, I might be able to throw a pigskin. I mean, I wasn't blessed with big hands like that.
Sure.
And you better have big hands to be able to throw a football.
It helps, yeah.
Certainly does.
It does.
And, of course, fumbles and all that other stuff.
Of course.
But I was thinking, I was like, Ty ran a little post route, okay? And I threw it about a half a yard behind him.
Okay.
And so it crossed my mind. I'm like, I wonder, like, I understand these guys do this all the time.
Yeah.
But our view, watching a game, is that a guy should be perfect every single time with throwing the football at the placement. Obviously, the better guys are. They're more perfect than others. Drew Brees, right?
Correct.
Super high percentage.
Yeah.
And then there's other times where your guy just has to make a play. Mm-hmm. And I know you played the defensive side of the football, so I'm not sure you could even answer this. But I was
receiver in high school, Brent. Don't shortchange me now.
Well, yeah, but this is more of an analytical thing where I wonder, and I might have to ask somebody in there, if you say on average throw 30 times a game, how many passes is your mark of saying I need 24 passes to be right where they are supposed to be, right? I mean, the goal is to get 30. But 24 right where they're supposed to be. I might throw another couple that are just piss poor bad, right?
Yeah, for sure. Those happen.
Because that happens. I mean, if you have enough plays in a game, it might be bad.
Yeah.
Now, you just hope they aren't interceptions because those are really bad.
Yeah.
But you might sail one. You know, you might short hop one.
Yeah.
And it might be another couple that you might just flat out throw away.
Sure.
And then there might be, I would say, another couple or 3 or whatever it is, whatever the number of where guys just go make a play for you. And they pull it in like Dede the other day, right? Ran under one that who knows what would have happened with that play.
Yeah.
So he makes a play for you. That just crossed my mind. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I wonder that is. I don't know if they chart it like that or if they even think that way.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep in mind, too, sometimes quarterbacks will put it only in the spot that the receiver can get it. And maybe that's not the most opportune spot for a receiver to catch it, but we're talking back shoulder throws or throws that are kind of, low just so maybe the wide receiver doesn't get depleted coming across the middle. Like, there's always those throws where the quarterback just has to throw to that spot because he's trying to help his receiver out. And it may not be the most accurate throw, but it's the throw that's going to set up the receiver for the best position. So I get what you're saying. I'm not sure what the percentages are. I'm definitely not the right guy to ask with that one. But, it's kind of a curious thing.
Yeah, I don't always look at Periscope while we're on the show, but Real Jags fan 904 just jumped in and said hello. So I will say hello back.
Brent's on Periscope.
Well, we get the Periscope's interesting.
Yeah.
Because on Facebook and YouTube, we can see all the chatter.
Sure.
If you tweet at me, I can see the chatter.
Yeah.
I might be just dumb and haven't figured this out, and we've been doing this for 9 months, 10 months, whatever.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to, once the comments go away on Periscope,
How do you get him back?
I can't see. Like, people might be asking us questions all show, and I just don't see them, and I have no idea. So sorry, I'm not trying to ignore you.
No,
They go away after a couple seconds. So I don't know where they go to.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you there.
Yeah, see, now everybody's doing it.
Well, it's good to know people are.
Daddy somebody.
Easy.
Hi. I've always got to be a little careful reading people's.
Steady?
Yeah. Daddy somebody. Hi.
Okay.
All right. Let's get back to what I was talking about. The personnel things with the Jags. We just went through their offense. And would you agree that they don't have anything, at least on offense at the moment, that would cost them a football that you'd be like, oh my gosh, how are we going to beat this team because we don't have the personnel?
No, I mean, would I like a change of pace back, or else would I like him to use Reichel Armstead a little more, give him some more reps? Yes, but overall, Brent, we just went over it. Set aside from the tight end, which we've talked about is the most vital thing right now, I am comfortable on the offense.
Yeah. And again, you have to keep this in context, folks. I understand. Yes, I would go to the grocery store right now and buy a tight end if I could. I get it. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, can you win without one? And the Jags have proven they've won a few games without this unbelievable tight end. And they actually might have a guy that could grow into a good role in Josh Oliver. We just don't know.
We haven't seen anything.
It's an unknown.
We don't know what to say. Yeah.
So, but now on the defensive side.
Yeah.
You know, they suffer an injury today, or really this last weekend, and Marcel Darius is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. But I started the show and said, listen, if you're going to have an injury, that's a good spot to have one. You've got Taven Bryan coming on, playing a little better football, someone you can trust a little bit more than you could have last year for sure, and even earlier this year. And then you have a Dontavius Russell. You can move Calais Campbell inside. So their defensive line, and we've talked about it. Calais Campbell has made plays. Taven Bryan has made plays. Avery Jones, Marcel Darius, Yannick Ngakoue, Josh Allen. Who am I missing? Anybody? That's 6.
I think you're okay.
6 or 7.
Smoot's made a couple plays.
Nice. He had 3 sacks.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely put Smoot in there.
I got you.
So
I got your back, Smoot. Don't worry about it.
So absolutely. Sorry, Dewan.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm talking about.
That was Brent Martineau, by the way.
Everybody's made a play on this Jags defense.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, and let's keep in mind, too, because you said
on the defensive line.
Correct. And you said it a little bit, too, with Calais Campbell. You know, and it's interesting. If you go back and watch some of these last games here, you know, last season, Calais Campbell was playing the big end technique, right? Like, he was the guy that was kind of, you know, playing that 5, like what he's accustomed to playing. This year, he's actually playing a lot more 3 technique, even when everyone's healthy. And they have Josh Allen playing that big end technique in a base defense.
Yeah.
So the fact that, yeah, we get it. Marcel Darius is out, and that's a big loss. But Calais has been playing a lot of 3 technique. Okay. And Josh Allen's been playing a lot of big end technique.
Yeah.
So as far as, like, you know, trying to teach the new position to anybody, like, everyone's fine there. So as far as hitting the panic button on that, you don't need to.
No, and listen, I think we could say, hey, is this really Saxonville? How good can they be play in, play out, game in, game out? That's not my point. Again, we're talking, are there any glaring weaknesses? I feel good about that. I think a lot of people would sign up for their defensive line, is my point.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So I'm going to skip the linebackers for a moment.
Well, okay. That's what I want to talk about.
Well, because I want to go to the safeties.
Yeah.
In that secondary in general. DJ Hayden playing really well. AJ Boye playing really well. Ronnie Harrison now has 3 turnovers. Does that account for playing really well? I mean, he's got 3 turnovers.
Listen, Ronnie Harrison, a second-year guy, I think he's made strides from his rookie year. I think he's doing everything that they asked him to do. Now, I remember first game of the season, I believe it was Kansas City. He had that stupid penalty in the end zone, but whatever. You know, I mean,
he showed a lot of growth in that game against Cincinnati. Do you remember? I don't remember winning the game. Do you remember a play across the middle where it looked like Ronnie Harrison was about to take the receiver's head off?
He eased up.
And he eased up or went off to the side.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, now we would have ripped Ronnie Harrison in that moment.
Yep.
And he could have, and a lot of guys would, not just young guys, old guys, whatever.
It's football. Yeah.
And
it's
he
instinct.
didn't. Now, I'm still not 100% sure he just didn't whiff. But my point is he didn't pick it up.
Exactly.
And I think he had too many of those goofy penalties early on. I think he's a good player. I said that in the offseason, and we might be starting to see it more and more with Ronnie Harrison.
Yep.
You know, Jared Wilson, I think if you ask 50 people, Jared Wilson is playing well, I'll be like, not really. I mean, yeah, whatever, Jared Wilson. Well, I would say if you ask people in the building, and it's not like I just got off the phone with anybody there, but I think if you ask them, he's played every defensive snap. I treat him more like an offensive lineman replacing Tayshaun Gibson back there, where I don't hear his name being blamed for much. Now, in that first week against Kansas City, maybe. And maybe I think he was in one of the run plays, I think, against Carolina. But I'm just saying, I don't see him miss. I think he knows where he's supposed to be. He's been in the system a while. I think he's playing well. The difference is he doesn't get splash plays. So I think your thought would be like, well, yeah, he can't be playing that great. I mean, Tayshaun Gibson had an interception or this or that. I just feel like he's playing sound football. And sound football combined with a guy like Ronnie Harrison, who's got a few turnovers, a guy like Boye who's playing well, a guy like DJ Hayden. I think you put that all together, that's pretty good secondary.
And listen, and when you want to compare these guys like you are, Brent, I mean, you have to compare them back to 2017 because that's when the defense was on fire, playing some really good ball. And Ronnie Harrison, I guess theoretically, is replacing Barry Church,
Absolutely.
correct?
Yep.
And to me, I'll be honest, that's probably a wash.
That's an upgrade.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not missing Barry Church
Barry
at all.
played well in 2017.
Yeah,
overall, but I'd say this kid's an
I think
upgrade.
Ronnie's doing a great job.
And then Ronnie's on Jaguars All Access tonight, 7 o'clock, Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. So it's also on Fox 30 at 7 o'clock. So we'll have Ronnie Harrison.
There it is. And then with the Tayshaun Gibson, obviously Tayshaun, when he was in Jacksonville, played some really good football. Yeah. Right?
He's a Pro Bowl guy.
He was a Pro Bowl guy. And the fact that we're not really hearing Jared Wilson's name compared to the Pro Bowl talk doesn't mean he's not doing a good job, because it's like you said, it's like the offensive line effect, where if you see a guy in coverage and a guy breaks out the gate and it's like, where's Jared Wilson on that one? I can't remember a play, at least in the past 3 or 4 games, where I was saying, man, Wilson's got to have that guy. So at least Wilson's in the right spot at the right time, not making those big time mistakes. So I think he's very serviceable. I think he's doing a good job.
Damn it, I talked too much. We're going to have to carry this into the next one for a moment because I left off the linebackers. And I did leave off Trey Herndon. I think Trey Herndon is a question mark. Yes, you lost a lot of value. Yeah. Is that the eyesore of this defense? Let's answer that question.
Teams are picking on him, yeah.
And a linebacker. Is that another eyesore potentially of this defense? Can that hurt you in a football game where you lose the game because of that position? That's what we're getting at here. We put a bow on that part of it. Coming up next on ESPN 690.
Golic and Wingo.
So now we're looking at the idea of Sam Darnold coming back for week 5.
You are literally staring down the barrel of 0-6, without question.
And you know who's really upset about that? The Miami Dolphins. They're like, whoa, what are you doing, man?
We're tanking for
We had this plan. What are you guys doing? You spent money. You're not supposed to be with us, man.
The only good thing is the Jets have their quarterback, so they don't have to worry about that.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
So your team scores. Suddenly you're best friends with perfect strangers. Tullamore Dew calls these friendships fanships. When the game is on, order a Tullamore Dew, the original triple-blended, smooth-sipping Irish whiskey for the person next to you. This game day, grab a Tully and strike up a fanship at...
Find Tullamore Dew in Jacksonville at Culhane Southside, Culhane's Atlantic Beach, and Lynch's.
When it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof, 2019, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Shop the 904.
We're local, you're local, shop local. This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
When you shop locally owned businesses, most of the money you spend with them stays right here in our community.
Locally owned and operated businesses give our community character by offering unique options for shopping and dining.
They are a big part of what makes living in the 904 so great.
Shop the 904.
Local businesses are also the ones who give more back to the community by supporting local charities and sponsoring your kids' sports teams.
This holiday season, when you shop the 904, you're also giving the gift of helping your local community stay unique.
Sure, it's tempting to try to save a few bucks shopping the giant online or national retailers, but those few bucks you save would do more for our local economy if you shop local.
Shop the 904 and help keep our community unique.
Shop the 904.
Powered by Cox Media Group. Visit shopthe904.com.
Vida de Louis, a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, wants to help our friends in the Bahamas. Hey everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brent Martineau. Vida de Louis is one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. It's made in Tequila, Mexico and shipped directly to Jack's Beach. But Vida de Louis has friends all over the world, and that includes in the Bahamas. Help us raise money for the Treasure Key Relief Fund and Hopetown Rising.
Check out Vida de Louis on social media and the website vidadelouis.com.
50% of all merchandise will go to these funds. Please help Vida de Louis help the Bahamas by going to vidadelouis.com.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo here from Golic and Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jackson. It's clear Northeast Florida has great taste in radio. I mean, you're listening to me every morning, right? Join the ESPN 690 team and get your business notice today. The First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get your business in front of them. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
What's up, Jacksonville? This is Allie McDeal from both Best Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The holidays are on the rise. Celebrate with the family and friends by serving a delicious honey-baked ham on your Thanksgiving table. Throughout the entire month of November, all High Hand winners will receive an 8-pound honey-baked ham. Head to either Best Bet location and pick up your Thanksgiving dinner today. For more detailed information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
The Stephen A. Smith Show.
I don't know what would make him think I would care about it. I don't give a damn whether I'm blocked on Instagram or not. Not like I tried to Instagram him directly. Anybody thinking about trying to post something on his page?
The Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hey, it's Mike Golick from Golick Wingo. Well, I'm assuming you can hear this as long as Justin didn't pull a cruise move and mess up. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Plenty of guys, Jan, Miles, secondary, you can say DJ, Ronnie, most definitely. And the offensive guys, we have Nick coming back, he's always been a leader. But I think Gardner's starting to fit into that mode of being a leader. The wide receivers, a lot of those guys. So just putting all the pieces together.
That's Leonard Fournette just a short time ago in the Jaguars locker room, and he was asked obviously about leadership and who they might be, and he listed a bunch of them. And the one that continues to amaze me, and I'm not sure I would agree with Leonard Fournette. Now, he would know better than me, but I would not peg like Ronnie Harrison as a leader in that locker room. He's a second-year guy. Now, Leonard Fournette had a captain jersey on last year as a second-year guy. But I continue to be amazed by DJ Hayden.
Yeah.
Hayden, this is not saying he's a bad guy or whatever or however. I just didn't view him. All the times I've talked to him over the last couple of years, I didn't really say, okay, well, that guy's like Calais Campbell. He could have the C or not, and you'd be like, that guy is probably a leader in the locker room.
Correct.
Right? Well, just from interviews and brief interactions, I never got that sense. He's kind of a quiet guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chris Conley said it. Leonard Fournette now saying it. I think Hayden's showing it with his play as well. And he's a guy that has gotten up and been pretty vocal in that locker room at times for the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a surprise leader for me. I didn't expect it.
Yeah, and listen, when we're talking about leaders, Brent, I played with one of the best ones to ever wear a Jaguars uniform in Puz.
Yeah.
And Puz was never the vocal guy.
True.
He was never the guy that was going to give you like the interesting sound bites per se, but he was a guy that led on the field by example. And I think, in terms of Hayden, this is a guy that's been leading on the field by example. And sometimes that's the best way to lead. So from that perspective, just because he's not like the most talkative guy, Maybe maybe that's a good thing, especially at that position where we're so used to the cornerbacks and everybody, kind of chit-chatting, everything like that. It's kind of refreshing to have a guy that's a little more quiet and keeps to himself.
It is. So Leonard Fournette talking about some of the leadership there, and Leonard Fournette himself, I think we've mentioned it a few times now, the on and off the field. It's become a narrative, which is a cool one, right? I said it on TV the other night. I said, listen, a lot of people ripped him. We all ripped him at times last year. I think you have to applaud him. For the work he's done on and off the field and kind of taking that role in this Jacksonville locker room. And that's a really good sign moving forward for the Jags. Okay, let's put a bow on this part of the segment. We got the wall that says it all coming up in just a few minutes with Yannick Ngakoue. But we've gone through the entire position group for the Jaguars. And let me just add this. We know special teams is fine, right? Yeah. I mean, Logan Cook's doing a nice job, and obviously Josh Lambo's incredible.
Yeah.
So it's not even worth talking about the special teams. I don't see holes in special teams. I think Joe DeCamillis usually has one of the better special teams units, and they do a great job in punt return coverage. Mm-hmm. So they let one get away in kickoff return coverage against Cincinnati for a minute, but outside of that, they've been really good. We talked about all the offense And yes, tight end is underserved right now for the Jaguars, but is it going to cost you football games? Our belief is probably not. And that's what this experiment is. What could potentially cost you football games? If you look at the Jaguars from a personnel standpoint, even though they don't have Nick Foles in at quarterback and they lost Jalen Ramsey to a trade. I mean, two of their better players, two of maybe their best players, one could argue, on each side of the football. And I come back to, man, there's not a lot of glaring weaknesses. There's not a lot of, you're not littered with Pro Bowlers and All-Pros, but you have some of that on both sides of the ball, at least potentially. But that leaves us with two spots that we haven't discussed. Trey Herndon. Mm-hmm. Now, the secondary, I think, has done a great job overall. But Trey Herndon, could he cost you a football game during this learning curve and taking over for Jalen Ramsey?
If Trey Herndon's going to cost you a game, it's got to come from, obviously, the two receiver, right? Because A.J. Boye, for lack of better words, is going to be on the one receiver. So could he cost you a game? I mean, teams are going to keep on picking on him, Brent. They have to, because teams respect A.J. Boye so well.
But couldn't that make him better, too?
Well, I mean, hey, if the ball keeps coming your way, eventually two things are going to happen. Either you're going to fold underneath the pressure, or you're going to start making interceptions and say, hey, keep throwing the ball my way and see what happens. So, yeah, I mean, it very well could help Trey Herndon out a lot. He's getting a lot of reps right now, a lot of experience. As far as, costing a team a game, I don't think so, because I think the Jaguars have the capabilities, and you saw this a little bit in Cincinnati. They have the capabilities to help Trey Herndon out a little bit, because I think they are comfortable with A.J. Boye going, man-to-man basically on the one receiver.
Yeah, okay, so then the last part, the linebackers.
That's the big one.
Right? Miles Jack is he just made a great play last week, big play. He's being paid like a big-time linebacker. He needs to play like a big-time linebacker.
Yep.
But then you have this weak side. Najee Good came in, did a nice job. Quincy Williams has had some learning curve issues.
But to be fair, Quincy had a good game when he was in Cincinnati.
He did. So that means he probably learned from the 6 quarters that he sat out, most likely. And, I mean, even DJ Alexander, got banged up, and now Leon Jacobs been banged up, and they add. But here's my thought, man. Okay, so they're light at the weak side linebacker spot. One right now because of injuries, and maybe because of inexperience if they play Quincy Williams in there. And he has made some issues. He has had some issues.
Yeah.
Right, in a couple of games, Denver and Carolina. We put it on the wall that says it all. Mm-hmm. But does the weak side linebacker cost you football games in the NFL?
I think more than you would think. I mean, I think, listen, we went to the wall that says it all, or the screen that pays the green, as I like to say now. We went to the wall.
Just depends what sponsor we want to put up
exactly.
there. We got some lawn
CBD
service
oil?
for the
We're one different.
CBD oil.
I thought you meant CBD oil. That's in right now. But Brent, we broke down a couple of Quincy Williams plays a couple weeks ago, and he directly had an effect on that Panthers game.
Okay, but wasn't that inexperience is my point. They're bringing guys off the street. They're bringing a Malcolm Smith, who's like, Najee Good isn't this unbelievable talent.
Sure.
But he could fill because he knew what he was doing experience-wise.
Cool.
I chalk it up as experience. What I'm saying is, do you have to have this A-plus player? Can't you just have an average player that you put in that spot and it's not going to cost you games?
You can have an average player, but see, when we start talking linebackers, whether they're strong side, don't forget, because Leon Jacobs is hurt now too.
Yeah,
so we don't know what's going to happen on the strong side.
McCray can play over there.
Okay, so whether it's strong side or weak side, it's a direct correlation to the run game and also stopping the receivers at running back. So if we analyze the schedule right now, yes, the bell's coming to town for the Jets, but that's all they really have. The Jaguars can plan around that. Houston Texans. You have Carlos Hyde, who had a pretty good first outing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Colts, Marlon Mack. You have Nyheim Hines, who's a beast in the pass game at the running back position. And then you have the Titans, who always run the ball. So from that perspective, I feel like coming forward, you got to have solid linebackers to be able to win football games.
So if there is a spot, that could be the spot. All right, we're going downstairs. All about Yannick Ngakoue coming up next on the wall that says it all. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Anyone can get on the radio these days and say whatever they want. But how many people back up what they say? Beards Diamonds does. Here's Ben, the second generation of jewelers at Beards.
I grew up here. My dad started this business 38 years ago. We know how good our diamond prices are, but we want to make sure that you know. That's why Beards Diamonds is offering you a $500 gift card if you can find any GIA certified diamond for less, anywhere in North Florida.
Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center and at beardsdiamonds.com.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Against the Nationals. Astros radio analyst Jeff Blum.
The offense is absolutely inept. It was another 0-for-5 night with runners in scoring position. They left 9 guys on base.
Jeff Blum on Freddie and Fitzsimmons. Game 3 in D.C. tomorrow night, 7 Eastern for the coverage on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. ESPN's Buster Olney reports the employment of Astros assistant GM Brandon Taubman is under evaluation. MLB is investigating an incident in the Astros clubhouse after they won the ALCS. The Vikings and Redskins kick off Week 8 in the NFL in Minneapolis tonight. The last time the teams played 2 years ago, Kirk Cousins was the Redskins starting quarterback. Case Keenum started for Minnesota. They'll be on opposite sides tonight.
The satisfying crunch of Nature Valley Crunchy Bars can keep your family going, which means more outside fun for you. And with whole grain oats and real delicious honey, it's really tasty too. Nature Valley Oats and Honey Crunchy Bars.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We come down to the TV studio, the wall that says it all by now, and we are going to talk all about Yannick Ngakoue here. He's worth talking about. He's been a little TV mixed with radio in the CBS 47 and Fox 30 studios. And again, as I like to tell everybody, if you're watching on the social media platforms, this is a cool illustration of a couple of plays from last week's game against the Saints and some big topics to talk about going forward against the Bengals. If you're on just the radio side on ESPN690.com or in your car, hopefully we illustrate this well enough where you can listen and it still makes sense. So here we go. Just 3 downs with Austin Lane. Yeah. And this is all about Gardner Minshew. Yeah. And this is now this cover 2 defense that the Saints showed again on Sunday. And it looked to confuse or at least throw off an offense that was clicking through the first 5 weeks, even with Minshew. And I got to believe a lot of defenses going forward will try to do this if they can.
First, from my point of view, I'm glad we're breaking down the offense today, right? Because the past couple weeks it's been the defense, and I feel like I haven't been really kind to my former brothers, I guess, on the defense. So I'm glad to see some offensive stuff here, but we're talking cover 2. We're also talking defense. And listen, make no mistake about it. The New Orleans Saints, they had a great game plan in what the Jaguars were trying to do. You know, we've been talking about, Brent, on the show a little bit, especially weeks 1, 2, and 3. D.D. Westbrook was kind of that one receiver. He was the guy that guys were game planning against. And I think New Orleans came in here and looked, D.D. Westbrook, he's a great wide receiver. But DJ Chark, I think at the time he was top 5 in yardage, I want to say, maybe in touchdowns as well.
Top 5 fantasy player.
And he's a top 5 fantasy player, most importantly. Didn't have him on my team, unfortunately, but he's a top 5 guy. So they saw that and they said, you know what? D.D. Westbrook's a great receiver, but we're not going to let DJ Chark beat us because he's beat so many teams before. So this defense right here kind of catered more towards DJ Chark. So now what we're talking about here, Brent, it's a basic cover 2 package. And I think you had Chris Conley on your show, and Chris Conley kind of broke it down a little bit as well. But basically what we're talking about in a cover 2 is you're going to have 2 safeties deep. And basically what their job is to do is the safeties back here, they're going to take half the field. So the cover 2 is implemented for the big play. Those DJ Chark plays, those Chris Conley plays, those go routes. They're taking away the big play with the cover 2 defense. Now, A lot of teams do this. You know, this is something that the Jaguars should have seen before.
Yeah, it's pretty traditional.
It's pretty traditional.
And just to reset for folks that are just listening, this play is in the second quarter. Jags down 3-0. It's 3rd and 4. They're on their own 21. And there are actually 9 players on the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
And only 2 safeties back.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're seeing right now from the New Orleans Saints, 9 guys on the line of scrimmage, little confusion, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I want to see the Jaguars do more. Confuse that offensive line. Confuse the quarterback, especially a first-year quarterback. Maybe he doesn't know where the blitz is coming from. So right off the bat, we have confusion with 9 down guys on the defensive line right now. Now, as the play develops, you see some guys start to drop back into coverage, right? And this is where the cover 2 comes in. And this is where the beauty of having a shutdown corner like Marshawn Lattimore comes into play. And I get it. Some people want to say you need the shutdown corner. You don't need the shutdown corner, right? I mean,
is that a topic this week?
We're getting ready to get that topic, I think, the whole next month or so. But when we're talking about Marshawn Lattimore, I have to give him his props. He's one of the best shutdown corners right now in the NFL. So he shadowed DJ Chark pretty much the entire time. They were worried about DJ Chark beating them deep. And as you can see right here, Chark is lined up outside. Yeah. That tells me right now, go route, post route, something of that nature.
This is a 4 wide receiver set, essentially, because the tight end is actually in receiver formation. Exactly. Along with 2 guys up top, D.D. Westbrook, DJ Chark. And then on the bottom here is, who is that on the bottom? Is that Conley? That's probably Conley.
Conley, yeah, exactly. So once again, this is a cover 2 play. So the safeties are going to have over-the-top help. But the beauty, when you have a shutdown corner like Lattimore on DJ Chark tries to run, he tries to do a go route. And you'll see down here in the play a little bit where that's covered up. Usually the safety wants to follow the best receiver, but he knows he has Lattimore and DJ Chark. So the safety can kind of cheat in a little bit. He can try to cheat in a little more towards the middle of the field, and that helps the defense in the back end.
Yeah, and let's reset this, because as we've had these conversations with Chris Conley or this week, when they saw this defense and looked confused, the place to beat this defense, the cover 2, is in the middle of the field.
Exactly.
And here on this slide, although Minshew is already in motion to throw the football to Chark on the go route down the right sideline, a ball that he's thrown pretty well so far this year, you do have 2 players in the middle of the field. One of the safeties picks up Jeff Swaim across the middle, and he's covered up. But D.D. Westbrook, he's got 2 guys flanking him, although there's a little separation as Minshew's throwing the ball, which, it's hard to tell the timing of all this. In hindsight, it's easier. But there are at least 2 players trying to do something in the middle of the field for the Jags.
And you said exactly right. So if you're trying to beat a cover 2 look, you have to beat it in the middle of the field, because the outside is explosiveness. He has athleticism. People want to say he's a little undersized. Well, anytime you have good ball get off, you have good explosiveness, you can easily make up for that, right? So that's what he does here. So this is more of an experienced, kind of like a Pro Bowler type play right here.
You talk about athlete, you talk about athleticism, you talk about get off, you talk about motor. Well, the last frame of this illustration, man, doesn't this say Yannick Ngakoue all over it? I mean, it looks like Bobby Orr scoring right in front of the net and diving across the ice, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, Brett, I'll be honest. You don't need me here to break down this screen cap right here. All you can see is Yannick Ngakoue is 2 feet off the ground, Superman diving into Mixon and trying to make the tackle. Now, he doesn't make the tackle. Miles Jack comes to clean it up. But he disrupts the entire play. He causes chaos. And anytime you're playing on the defensive line, your main goal, whether it's in the backfield, on the line of scrimmage, you want to cause chaos. And right here, Superman is causing chaos.
I'm telling you what, they're going to take this segment to that Jags front office. In contract negotiations. They're going to take this segment right here. And listen, eventually, when we're done with it, they're going to take this 10, 12 minutes, and they're going to say, look at this guy. And to me, this frame shows what he's all about, man.
So, Jan, I mean, if you get a little cut, be sure to send some my way. But listen, I'm a little biased. It's up to me. I don't think the salary cap exists. If I was a GM, I'd be going into the games after the wins. You get a bonus. You get a bonus. Josh Lambo, nice field goal. Here's a little bonus for you. So,
one last thought, just to encapsulate this for people that are just listening. Yannick Ngakoue is in Superman position. Because Mixon did get through the hole to a degree. But the only way to slow him down for Yannick is to throw his body. I mean, just not care about his body at all. And at least slow him down for Miles Jack to make a play. Heck of a play.
Well, let's keep in mind, too, if Jan isn't here making this play, who knows what happens?
It's one-on-one against Miles Jack. He can bounce it outside. All those things might be a big gainer.
Correct.
All right, let's go to number 2 here on the wall that says it all. Once again, we're on ESPN 690. You're listening to this. We're on ESPN690.com. You're streaming us. Hopefully you do that a lot. But you can also watch us on the video platforms. And this is what we want to give you a little bit more of on the video side of things, because it's a great illustration of a guy that's turning into, I don't know if great is the word, but very good to great to elite. Who knows where the ceiling is for Yannick Ngakoue. All right, take us to, we go backwards a little bit in terms of chronological order.
Yeah.
And this is 2:59 to go in the first quarter. And this will be a play that looked like a reverse.
Correct.
That Yannick Ngakoue ends up making a big tackle for a loss.
Huge play.
And by the way, this is a huge play because it felt like, there's some momentum on the Jags side, but Cincinnati with all that field position change, if you remember.
Yeah.
So this kind of knocks Cincinnati off their rhythm.
Exactly. This is a copycat league in the NFL, right? So here's what I say, it's a copycat league. We have trips to the left of Ngakoue. So there's a tight end on the line and then trips on the other side. So there's 3 receivers lined up across from Ngakoue. Why I say it's a because this formation coming up right here is a lot like Carolina ran. All right?
Everybody?
They see everybody, and it's all about confusing the defensive end. It's about confusing linebackers. It's having that background, making them guess a little bit. Well, Yannick Ngakoue right now was on his P's and Q's because as the play develops right here, he understands that the tight end goes down. And if you're in a wide 9, Brent, if you're standing up in a 2-point stance and the tight end's supposed to come out to you, but he goes down, something's probably coming back. So Ngakoue feels the tight end going down. So it's going to be a boot. It's going to be kind of like this handoff reverse that you're seeing here, or it could be like a quarterback rollout. But he knows something's coming back because why would they leave him wide open like that? So he understands that. So his keys go from the tight end to the next guy up. So Ngakoue sees the tight end go down, and now he's like, all right, what's coming at me?
And I'll tell you what, in this frame, next frame, there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on.
I'm not sure. Does Cincinnati 4 players in about a 3-yard space?
Yes.
And I don't know who's getting the ball eventually.
Yeah.
But, eventually this is just a little bit of a pitch to the wide receiver. Again, it kind of plays like a reverse.
It does. Absolutely. And listen, we have defensive linemen going one way, defensive linemen going the other way. I mean, we don't know what's happening right now.
And let me interrupt you because this is a good way to beat the Jags defense because they're fast and a lot of times over-aggressive.
Correct.
So anything misdirection, of course, catches the Jags.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can catch good players being overly aggressive.
Exactly.
And the Jaguars have been beat on that in the past. This is an attempt to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So now, if you're an okay player, if you're a decent player, what Yannick Ngakoue would probably do right here is get underneath this cutter and try to make the play going towards Mixon because everything is dictated with the fact that the ball is going to go outside opposite field to him, right? So Ngakoue is thinking, all right, well, maybe I can just cut inside and make the play. But Ngakoue is not just he's not just a basic player. He's a little more experienced. He's playing for a contract. He's got a lot on the line. So Ngakoue, he understands the fact that there's a puller coming his way. Whether it's a tight end, a running back, or wide receiver, something's coming his way. Ngakoue is not concerned in the backfield right now. He's not looking at the backfield. He's looking at the puller coming his way. And he understands that if he takes on the puller, and I'm not saying when I take on the puller with 2 hands, just with your shoulder, stay in square. We talked about it before on the show, Brent. You want to stay square. If he stays square, he can make the play. So basically what happens is the puller comes to him. It's a wide receiver. I like my odds on a wide receiver on Yannick Ngakoue.
Me too.
The wide receiver
it's Auden Tate is who it is. Yeah. It's a big wide receiver.
Don't get twisted. He's like 6'4", 6'5", 250. So call him a tight end if you want. Either way, I like my odds with Yannick Ngakoue.
Auden Tate's not calling him undersized.
No, exactly. So basically what happens is Auden Tate tries to block him, and Ngakoue says no thanks, sheds the block, and makes the play 10 to 15 yards in the backfield.
Yeah, and it's a big loss on this play, and a huge loss. So, again, these are 2 illustrations of Yannick Ngakoue against the run.
Correct.
He has been It's not even that he's been criticized. Mm-hmm. What people do is they try to poke holes. Okay, where are your weaknesses? Where are your strengths? Well, his strength is as a pass rusher and been knocking that football away, right? Forced fumbles early on in his career. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, what is he maybe less great at, less good at? Well, that would be against the run because he's not 255 pounds, and maybe just that's the knock against him. So my question is, if that's the knock, is he getting better against the run? Is he going to school on the run? Is this a focus from his standpoint of saying, I am going to be better in 2019 against the run? And are these illustrations of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a few things. I think it's a guy that's taking pride in what he does. I think it's a guy that has heard, people talk about how maybe he lacks the run game a little bit, so he took that to heart. I think it's a matter of fact that he's getting more experience now. He's seeing different looks and everything, and maybe studying film a little more. And when you put those things together, that's when you make these great plays, in the backfield. Now, don't get it twisted. Yannick Ngakoue is not built like Khalil Mack. You know, he's not your prototypical, base 4-3 defensive end, but he doesn't have to be. You know, people have this preconceived notion of what a good defensive end looks like, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's Khalil Mack or Julius Peppers back in the day. It takes all shapes and sizes. Von Miller, good at playing the run. Guess what? Von Miller, Brent, even probably like your size right now. You know, but Von Miller's on the shorter side. Size doesn't matter, man. If you play with get off and have aggressiveness, you can make plays. That's what Yannick Ngakoue did right here.
All right, time does matter, so we have to move on here on the wall that says it all. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. I did notice that off the wall is your shirt. Very nice.
I like that.
For the wall that says it all.
Didn't plan it, but there you go.
Our last illustration,
Yeah.
and a play that only 2 players in Jacksonville Jaguars history have made from the defensive line position, the pick 6 for Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I want you to hear what Yannick Ngakoue saw, and then you can describe it. We'll put a bow on this segment here on ESPN 690. Check it out.
You know, Coach Rebs always talk about just reading screens and things of that nature, and I felt like a soft set from that tackle, and I could tell when 25 is in the game, he's more of a passing running back, 28 is more the runner, so I kind of figured it was like kind of a screen.
That's Yannick Ngakoue, student of the game, right?
You have to be.
Coachable player. Film room, all those things. I think you heard it from Yannick Ngakoue. He showcased it in a pivotal. This is the decider, man.
Yeah.
You can say number 91 won him the football game on Sunday. This is the thing. This is the play that stretched the game out.
Absolutely. So let's go to it quick. So same kind of formation here as the first play we broke down. 2-by-2, basically 2 wide receivers on the right side, 2 wide receivers on the left side. And
More bunched up.
And then they're bunched up. Yep, they're tired of the line of scrimmage, okay? We got Yannick Ngakoue sitting on the right side of the formation, kind of like in that 9 technique. You know, I mean, there's a tight end split out, but he's basically in a 9. We'll call it a 9. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Taven Bryan and Yannick Ngakoue, they're going to run a game. A game I like to call the text game. What does a text game mean? Tackle first and second. So, Brent, one of the hardest things I had trouble.
Can we run the game on right now?
Yeah,
Can we do it?
Run the game?
You want to be Taven Bryan?
Okay, yeah. So I'm Taven Bryan, you're Yannick Ngakoue. Okay,
good. He's gonna make more money. So.
Yeah, we'll see. So basically, what happens is if you're rushing right now, I'm Taven Bryan. I'm going first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in front of you, and I'm going to set this. I'm going to set the pick on the tackle,
and I'm going
right around me. Exactly.
Simple as that. That's
Simple
the game.
As that.
Okay.
So now here's what Taven Bryan. Listen, the hardest thing to do as a defensive end or defensive tackle that I learned coming up in the league is to identify the screens and the draws. Why? Because especially on a 2nd and 10, it's a passing situation, right? Like you have your ears pinned back. You're ready to pass rush. You're ready to get paid, right? You get some of those quarterback sacks.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to recognize sometimes that the offensive linemen, they want you to overcommit. They want you to go to the quarterback and try to sack him, right? Because that's how you set up the screen. They set you up a little bit. So now here, with Taven Bryan's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Taven Bryan he's the game setter. He's the guy that's going to set the pick for Yannick Ngakoue. Taven Bryan sets the pick. Now, the tackle that he sets the pick on wants him to go upfield, right? Because that's part of the screen game. Taven Bryan has no idea right now that the screen's occurring. Why? Because he's setting the pick. He just thought, you know what? I set a good pick. They didn't know it was coming.
Here I come. I'm going to get a sack.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, Taven Bryan's a lot of things. Probably the top one, aggressive. He has really good aggressiveness, and hopefully we'll see that this Sunday as he's getting the starting spot. So we have the aggressiveness here of Taven Bryan going to the quarterback, Dalton. Dalton sees this, obviously. He's a little nervous.
And we're on the screen grab we're on if you're just listening.
Yeah.
I mean, Taven Bryan now is about a yard away from hitting Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's about ready to throw off his back foot.
Yeah, exactly. So now we got that. So now let's go down to
We flip this around. This is a 180 view of that.
So this is you. So you're coming around second, right?
Yeah.
Now you would think, well, you're kind of coming around scot-free. Why not keep going? Well, Ngakoue, once again, the eye disciplined, the instincts, they take Ngakoue to the ball. When Ngakoue comes around, he understands that the guard takes him for a split second. The guard kind of pushes him, but doesn't go with him, which makes zero sense if you're Ngakoue.
A little bump and run by the guard.
A little bump and run. As soon as Ngakoue feels that guard bumping him, just kind of give him a little push, but not like a usual pass set, Ngakoue knows something's up. So once he knows something's up, he stops rushing after the quarterback, and he retraces his steps. So now when they say retrace your steps, all that means is you go back to where you came from because it'll take you to the ball. So Ngakoue stops, retraces his steps, and goes back to where he came from at the defensive end position. What happens after that?
Well, the pick.
Yep, the pick. Taven Bryan puts pressure on Dalton. Dalton throws a bad ball. Ngakoue goes back to where he came from. Ball right in his hands. 888 out the gate.
Pick six, and look, Stuart Weber would like us all to acknowledge that's Stuart Weber right there with Yannick Ngakoue running right at him.
Very nice.
But anyway, this is all like what Yannick just said earlier, just a couple minutes ago. His film preparation, because Giovanni Bernard, 25, not 28, Joe Mixon is in the game. So he's like, wait a minute, sometimes they like to do this. On top of that, the feel, the instincts, and then making a play. By the way, some guys drop that football.
Absolutely.
It's an easy play, but those guys aren't receivers. They're big men rushing the quarterback for a reason. Showed good hands. Obviously, athleticism. Walks into the end zone.
Showed great hands, athleticism. You could tell he's a defensive lineman because the celebration was a little lacking in the end zone, but it's okay, man. He still got the points.
All right. Well, here's the deal, Yannick Ngakoue. I think we just got you more money. Bring this to the front office. This is it in a nutshell. This is a resume game. Isn't it?
Absolutely. No, I mean, this is a statement game to say the least, because I get it. Defensive ends, when teams are evaluating defensive ends, it's all about the quarterback sacks, the pressures, right? Well, you know what's better than a quarterback sack or a pressure? A touchdown.
A touchdown.
Yes.
That's Austin Lane. We're here at the wall that says it all. Yannick Ngakoue playing some really good football in a contract year. He's going to get a lot of money. We'll talk more about the Jags coming up on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 right after this as we go back upstairs.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy today. The chance for an afternoon shower. Highs in the mid to upper 70s. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47. Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds that guarantees you a $500 gift card if they can't beat anybody's price on a diamond.
Fact: about half of all men will experience ED or PE. Fact: both ED and PE are highly treatable. Fact: a safe, effective treatment is just a call away. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our highly skilled doctors guarantee results on your first visit, or there's no charge. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rabinsky. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, the treatments at Prime Men's Medical Center work immediately, regardless of your age or medical history. You'll receive custom blended medications designed just for you. They're safe and effective with no pain and no surgery. Patients are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, the treatments are affordable.
Men, if you want to last longer in the bedroom, schedule a private consultation with the experienced physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane at the wall that says it all.
Brenna's Pizza checks the box on all three. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And you're home for football all fall. Watch the games.
Everybody, welcome back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane at the wall that says it all. And we are going to talk all about Yannick Ngakoue.
Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Arena's Pizza.
In an ocean of car dealers, there's only one, Atlantic Infinity. The all-new 2020 Infinities are coming in, most loaded with luxury and convenience that will delight and amaze you with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, delivering exceptional touchscreen command of your email, texts, music, and maps. Now at the one and only Atlantic Infinity's new showroom. Call for a test drive, 642-0200. Atlantic Infinity, 10980 Atlantic Boulevard. Follow the wave.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
This is high blood pressure. Get back on your plan. Go to loweryourhbp.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
When the time comes to get your roof replaced, call Big Fish Roofing. We don't require any upfront deposits, and we are locally owned and operated by Jacksonville natives who have built their business on quality and integrity. At Big Fish Roofing, we know your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, so we make sure to deliver a quality project in a timely manner. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing, or give us a call at 904-685-8334.
So your team scores. Suddenly you're best friends with perfect strangers. Tullamore Dew calls these friendships fanships. When the game is on, order a Tullamore Dew, the original triple-blended smooth-sipping Irish whiskey for the person next to you. This game day, grab a Tully and strike up a fanship at...
Find Tullamore Dew in Jacksonville at Culhane Southside, Culhane's Atlantic Beach, and Lynch's.
When it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof, 2019, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
See, boss? Look at all these great masks, and they got them marked down for their after Halloween sale. These make great disguises for breaking into houses.
Oh, yeah. It's perfectly normal for a big guy in a Spider-Man mask to be lurking around the neighborhood.
I wouldn't be lurking.
Whatever. Just make sure you don't go near any safe-touch houses. Those things aren't safe for us crooks.
Hey, before I forget, that house we've been casing, when are those folks going out of town again?
Black Friday. And since they don't have safe-touch security, we don't have to worry.
Yeah, no safe-touch means no two-way communicator or crash and smash technology, no video monitoring.
And no headaches for me.
Here, look. What do you think of my new mask?
It's definitely an improvement.
Thanks.
You find another house without safe-touch and the mask is on me.
Consider it done.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
What's up, Jacksonville? This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. Head to either Best Bet location November 2nd for a chance to win $12,000. Jump in a cash game at either location for a monster high hands. The player with the highest hand between noon and 6 p.m. will receive $6,000. Stick around. The high hand will reset, and the player with the highest hand between 6 p.m. and midnight will also receive $6,000. For more detailed information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
How many jewelry stores ask you to shop around? Beard's Diamonds wants you to see the selection and pricing other stores have to offer. Why? Here's Ben from Beard's Diamonds to tell you.
Because at Beard's, we are so confident in our diamond prices. So confident that no other store can touch Beard's prices. That we're willing to give you a $500 gift card if you find a GIA certified diamond for less anywhere in North Florida.
Beard's Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com. See store for details.
Opportunities present themselves every day. Opportunities that move us forward. Opportunities to serve part-time in your community while continuing their full-time careers or education to help keep our nation safe at home and around the globe. Explore your opportunities in the Air Force Reserve.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. The Jags defense took a massive hit as defensive tackle Marcel Darius will be off the board for 4 to 6 weeks with a core muscle injury. And speaking of the Jags, they play the one-win Jets this Sunday. This is Calais Campbell explaining why that is a dangerous situation.
Usually when a team gets blown out, they usually come, a lot more focused and locked in that next week. They're going to be locked in and focused, so we're going to have to, definitely come in and handle whatever kind of injury they bring.
And in the World Series, the Nationals took a 2-game lead last night after crushing the Astros at home 12-3. Game 3 is Friday night from Washington. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I hate to say it, I love Nick and all that stuff, but, my focus is on the team and trying to win a game. The trainers, Nick, Scott at times, their focus will be on Nick. You know what I mean? And then I'll get the information as we go.
That's Doug Marrone talking Nick Foles, and that's the best he can handle the situation. What's he going to say about that? Speaking of situations, what the heck? So if you were just watching, we go to the wall that says it all, and we've had mixed results on this. Sometimes this computer crashes out, so then we do a backup plan. See, we put backup plans in, and we have images. Well, this one pulled like last week's New Orleans Saints wall that says it all. So anyway, if you caught that, if you got confused on that, apologies. We fixed it, and Kuz fixed it. Really, I didn't do a dang thing. But
I just sat here and pouted.
You did. You pouted.
Yeah, that's all I did.
Welcome to our world, my friend in TV, when you kind of put stuff in and you do stuff, and all of a sudden it doesn't work, and you're like, thanks. It kind of puts you in a bad mood.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't mind. We're trying stuff. We're going to do it at 5:30. I'm going to play it in its entirety again in case you missed it anyway. And, well, for two reasons. One, because I want you to see it. It's a really good description of what Yannick Ngakoue is doing and how good that game was by Austin. And two, quite frankly, I want to figure out why it didn't work.
For sure. Let's get to the bottom of it.
It's a little bit of show and tell for us. But I think, unless something comes up, we'll run it again at 5:30 in case you missed it on the wall that says it all. Because it's all about Yannick Ngakoue if you're just jumping in with us. So that's coming up. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. Johnny Bachman is back.
Hey.
Didn't even bring us any pasta?
No, but I do have some bottles of wine coming home, so I can share those with you later.
There we go.
Are you a wine guy?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You are, huh?
You bet.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, you and Dipple.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, let me tell you really quickly.
John went to Italy, by the way.
I was in Florence and then this region on the coast called Cinque Terre. It's really cool. If you haven't been, I highly recommend.
Was this
looking
pure
at
vacation?
Pure vacation.
Oh, so you had this coming for a while? You knew you were going?
Yeah, for a while. Yeah, well, so this was a honeymoon trip. So the story goes like this. Last year was my 20th anniversary.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hurricane Florence came. And I had to work.
I remember that.
My anniversary trip. My anniversary trip was canceled because I had to work Hurricane Florence.
Talk about
Thankfully,
people that
it was my 20th.
Talk about dedication.
My wife is a great person and was relatively understanding. And so
relatively.
Yeah. And so
as much as she could be.
Part of the way I was able to encourage that understanding was to say, all right, next year we're going to blow it out of the water.
Yeah.
I thought it was very fitting then that we went to Florence, Italy. Because of Hurricane Florence.
Did
you see what I did there?
I did see that.
So
I didn't catch
really
that
well.
until you just told me 15 times.
Yeah. Hey, but what was cool was we were in this area called Cinque Terre, and we were hiking along the water, along the coast between these two villages. Remote. Now, this is a popular tourist spot, but not a lot of tourists are up there hiking, especially this time of year, a little off-season. So we're in this remote place. I had just come across a man who runs the vineyard that we were walking through on the side of this mountain, and he was selling like limoncello shots and stuff in this little homemade cave. And I just come across that guy. We're hiking up a little further, and here come this beautiful young couple. They look like Americans, kind of like we stood out. We looked like Americans. So I said, hey, how you guys doing? Thinking they were Americans, and sure enough, they responded, hey, we're great, And I said, where are you guys from? They said, Florida. I'm like, wow, so are we. What are the odds?
Small world.
Jacksonville Beach, Florida. So how about that? I don't even want to know what the odds. My wife and I talked about it for hours afterwards, trying to figure out what the odds might be to come across two folks from Jacksonville Beach, Florida, in this remote trail in the other side of the world. It was crazy. Very cool.
That is wild.
There was Duval till you die, even in Western Italy.
That's awesome.
What? How good is Italy?
Oh my gosh.
How good's the food?
So good.
Really?
So good.
You look a little chubbier, just to let you know.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, wow, shots fired.
You know what? For the record, I was in the gym today, and I was curious myself because I felt.
Well, hey,
I felt.
Well, you know what? Props to you for being in the gym because you know what Brent was doing this morning? He was on the beach throwing a Nerf football, bragging about how far he threw the football. Congratulations.
That was after I got a workout.
Okay, you didn't tell that part.
I didn't.
You didn't tell that part.
I didn't want to brag. That's why I asked you earlier if I looked good today.
Oh man! So it was like a Top Gun moment for you.
Something like it. Yeah.
Were you wearing too tight of jeans too, there, Brent? That's right. I am dangerous. No, so I was on the scale today and didn't gain any pounds. Now,
really,
I was a week off. Your physique may have changed a bit, and the pants might have still fit a little snugger. But we walked all over the place, so I burned a lot of that pasta.
Awesome.
But most
importantly, how you feeling? That's what matters the most.
I got back late last night and slept hard for about 7 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be fine from 5 to 7. If you really want to just, maybe you should tune in tonight after the football game or on CBS 47 at 11. I mean, you never know.
There you go.
Right?
Okay.
Who knows how that'll work out?
Here's what happens, too. A lot of that jet lag stuff usually hits you like a few days later, I think. But it'll be the weekend for you, right?
The way I look at it is the hardest part was going there because we went through the night and then we got there like noon their time. So we had to push through to basically just stay up until 9 o'clock and go to bed and start kind of recalibrating.
Sure.
I was only there for 5 nights.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like I was there for a long time. So coming back, I'm not sure I really ever adapted fully. So I'm not sure that I'll really, feel much.
Yeah.
Going forward.
All
anyway,
right, so that's cool. Good trip.
Enough about me.
I
It was
didn't
great.
even
No,
know
it was
that.
good.
Obviously, I haven't talked too much.
It's been a little
all of a
while.
sudden, I saw you tweet today about the Jack's Beach thing. I was like,
where's John at? I thought there was like a discrepancy that happened between you guys.
What was so great about it was I was off the grid. Like I had Wi-Fi at the hotel. So every night in the morning, I would check to see how the kids were doing because we were 6 hours ahead. So I was able to kind of get updates from the kids. And then at night, I'd come back and I'd, check to see what was going on, whatever. But for 12 hours in between.
How awesome is it, John?
I had nothing. It was
How awesome
so
is it, John?
Awesome.
Welcome to the club. Dude, I live by that.
I don't
on the weekends, come on.
It was.
Brent's shaking his head like an addict. Like I don't know how you guys can do it.
Brent would have the shakes after 20 minutes.
You'd have withdrawals.
I would.
Yeah,
I would.
That's all
I would
good,
have
man.
brought the gear over and done the radio show.
Well, I got to tell you, first of all, I was rooting on the Jags. I did check the Wi-Fi to check the end of the game. Because it was late at night when the game ended.
Yeah.
But I was able to stay up long enough to see the Jags pull that one out, which is fantastic. And I did walk around Florence in my Jaguars shirt. I thought, that was the least I could do.
Yeah, represent.
So I was doing as much as I could.
And it was so nice of you to find time to tweet me about the Wisconsin Badgers, too, as well.
Yeah,
Even though
I did.
You supposedly didn't have cell phone service.
It was probably late at night.
But he found, hey, I was on his mind so much. He was like, when I get back to the hotel with that Wi-Fi, I got to let Austin know about
I couldn't resist.
That might tell you a lot about John.
It says a lot about him. Yeah, you sit next to the guy for a couple weeks, and now you see his true colors. It's unbelievable.
These are facts, friends. These are facts.
All right, hey, you a little sports in the news tonight because this pay to play is getting more and more support in Florida. The governor.
Yeah, you guys are going to be talking. If you haven't already, you'll be talking a lot more about this because, California has passed a law that will go into effect in a couple of years. I think we did talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
In Florida, the session starts early next year. There's been I believe it was a representative, maybe a senator, maybe both, but somebody locally has proposed a bill that would be similar to California's. Only there would be a starting time that, at least on the surface, would start sooner than
3
California.
years sooner.
Yeah,
California's not going to start
till
till 2023.
Right.
This one would start next year.
Right. Now, and I know that things will change between now and when if the thing even survives, it'll get changed several times. But the bottom line is the bill has been proposed, and the governor has now stated that he is in favor of pay for play. Now, exactly how and all those details still to be worked out. But we did. I don't know if you guys did it or somebody talked to Leonard Fournette. Stewart did, and so we're going to hear from him. If you haven't aired that already, we're going to definitely air that on CBS 47 and Fox 30 tonight.
He's a great example of it.
He is a great example of it. I learned today that he had the hashtag, Booga Nation? Yep, and his family was told by the NCAA, no go on those shirts because, and it had nothing to do with LSU. It was just his family. But so those are the rules currently, but this is a prime example of some of the things that they're talking about.
Listen, we've talked about it at length before, right? We had Jason Fitz on, and he was a great one too because he joins us on Tuesday. But he used to play in the band Perry, right?
Yeah.
And if he wanted music and all that while he was in school, and he wanted to write music and make money off music, would be no problem. Mm-hmm. But for athletes that can't do any of this stuff, we have Martin from Palm Beach Autographs on. He talks about it. Todd Gurley suspended for something like this that wouldn't be like that at Georgia years ago, and multiple guys. Everybody's got a story about this kind of stuff. Heck, can you imagine the money Gardner Minshew might have been able to make last year at Washington State?
The stash, for sure.
Yeah.
So, and now he has more control over that kind of stuff, or at least somewhat control, and can make some dollars off his likeness and image in the NFL, and now that he's a professional. So we've talked about it, but I guess with the governor coming out and supporting it, in this state, what does that part of it mean?
Well, that's a good question. It clearly carries some weight with lawmakers who will be looking at this proposal. And if they weren't in favor of it before, they're going to probably look twice at it now. And what really this, in my opinion, obviously the NCAA is intrastate, right? State laws can't impact the NCAA, so to speak. But think about this. Number one, it could impact recruiting, right? If you're a young man or a woman who is good at soccer or football or baseball, and you have the potential to make money on the side, are you going to go to USC or are you going to go to
It's a great
LSU,
point.
right?
That's where my mind was going.
So, right, there's that. But then also if California does it and then Florida does it, those are the two huge states with huge population, huge voting blocks of folks, which will then impact what other states might do and ultimately impact the NCAA. And that's where this would head, in my opinion.
If you take it from an athletic point of view, you think of two of the biggest states when it comes to college athletics is, no doubt, California and Florida. Yeah. If you get Texas in the mix on
that's
that
right.
too,
that's
well,
right.
then you'd really be doing so. And from a political standpoint, if you throw Ohio in the mix, well, then you're probably really crossing lines now and getting everybody else to do it, right? So, it is fascinating, both from a political perspective, the way the NCAA views this thing, but also from a conference and college perspective, because we've already had conversations about that, where if you're in the Pac-12 and California is going to do this, but you're not allowed to do it in Utah, and you're in the Pac-12, well, or you're not allowed to do it at Washington or Washington State. Well, that's a huge disadvantage from, like what you just said, a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. This feels like nothing gets changed overnight. It really feels like this has picked up steam overnight, and California has led the charge on it. And it feels like this one might be something that changes. When I say overnight, I'm saying in a few years,
well,
not
you've
something
got
10, 12 years
the
down the
timeline
road.
has been set in this, right? California basically 3 years. So you've got everybody else now working to get to that 3-year span. So that's really where we're at. We have a 3-year timetable because the NCAA is going to have to address this before California's law goes into effect.
Yeah.
It's just going to have to. So they've basically put it out there and said, here's where we're at. So now, again, if Florida is short to follow with that, even if they say 3 years down the, even if they change the current proposal and make it 3 years to coincide with California, which might happen, I don't know if it will or not, but if they did that, now you've got this, like you said, is snowballing. So it will speed up that conversation. I know that the NCAA is spending a lot of time on this already, clearly.
Absolutely. All right, more on that coming up tonight on Action News Jax, 5 o'clock until 7 o'clock on CBS 47 and Fox 30. And then right at 7 o'clock, we'll have Jaguars All Access on Fox 30 live from Mellow Mushroom.
Followed by what?
Avondale.
Followed by what tonight?
Followed by a little Thursday night football.
That's right. Who's playing tonight?
Oh, the Vikings tonight.
That's right.
Oh,
is Kirk Cousins in prime time against his own team?
Against the Redskins, though.
Yeah.
Is it even worth noting?
Well, let's put it this way. He better have a good game.
You better have a good game against the Redskins.
Get the J.
Is it Minnesota or in Washington? Do we know?
Oh, I think it's in Washington.
No, it's in Minnesota.
Oh, it's in Minnesota.
Okay.
It's in Minnesota. Minnesota's a 16-point favorite, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't bet on these things. And
not at all.
And this is essentially like playing the FBS versus the FCS.
Oh, shots fired at Washington.
Well, it is.
Well,
It is.
I know.
It's
Washington's
The
they're not
NFL
good.
has never been like this, but it feels like it is like that now. I mean,
Because they're
it's like
starting
you
to
have
do
a
what-
Power 5 in the NFL, and you have everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami, the Jets right now feel that way. Washington feels that way. Cincinnati's that way. I mean, I don't remember a year in recent memory where there are so many have-nots that can hardly even compete in the NFL.
It's bad.
It's really pretty bad. Some huge spreads. All right, catch John, Tanika, Mike Borish, and we'll join him as well. Action News Jax, 5 until 7 o'clock, CBS 47, Fox 30. Glad you're back, man.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me.
Give us some wine. Hey, coming up next, Jalen Ramsey back in the news, and Bowing and Following includes the Jets and how much of a mess they really are.
Yeah.
That's next.
Friday nights, we bring the high school football to you on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with our Game of the Week. We don't just cover one school, a different game every week. Listen to the call of the game on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com. Watch the video of the game live on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look us up on Action Sports Jax or ESPN 690. It's our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week, and it leads into the Friday Night Blitz at 10:30 on Fox 30 and 11:15 on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Tax problems can be extremely stressful and cause financial devastation. The tax attorneys at J. David Tax Law are right here in Jacksonville to be your personal advocate and resolve your IRS or state sales tax issues. J. David Tax Law focuses on your needs and case outcomes. Don't be fooled by these big out-of-town tax companies that only focus on getting you to sign up and pay without even working with an attorney. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
In an ocean of car dealers, there's only one, Atlantic Infiniti. The all-new 2020 Infinitis are coming in, most loaded with luxury and convenience that will delight and amaze you. With Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, delivering exceptional touchscreen command of your email, texts, music, and maps. Now at the one and only Atlantic Infinity's new showroom. Call for a test drive, 642-0200. Atlantic Infinity, 10980 Atlantic Boulevard. Follow the wave.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with an experienced real estate team with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 1057788.
Minimum fee may apply. Not licensed in all 50 states. Visit rexhomes.com to see if Rex is available in your area. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
We're local, you're local, shop local. This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
Shop the 904.
Powered by Cox Media Group. Visit shopthe904.com.
You know you'd like to add an $80 gift card to your wallet. Well, that's exactly what you can get this October at any of Tire Outlet's 9 locations. We're here to tell you about the Yokohama Fall Rebate at TireOutlet.com. You'll receive up to $80 on a Visa prepaid card or Visa virtual account with your purchase of 4 select Yokohama tires. The Yokohama Fall Rebate offer, only this month. See more rebates and info at TireOutlet.com. Wholesale prices, premium service.
For hungry families, for those facing depression, for nearly anyone in need, we're here. We're Jewish Family and Community Services, supporting people of every age, race, and religion. Jewish Family and Community Services. Learn more at hereforjax.com.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
Locally owned and operated businesses give our community character by offering unique options for shopping and dining.
They are a big part of what makes living in the 904 so great.
Shop the 904. Powered by Cox Media Group. Visit shopthe904.com.
At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. When storms threaten, put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. That means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather, and that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Trust, tradition, and quality. A winning combination to feel good about your home. Sometimes it's just that time to replace your roof. Or maybe you need to fix your roof after a recent storm. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martin of Action Sports Jacks. And there are so many roofing companies in the area. But which one can you trust? Let me tell you about my friends at Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company. Trust a family-owned business with owners that grew up right here in Jacksonville. Talk to the owners directly. Get free estimates, and you can trust Jack C. Wilson Roofing to walk you through each step of the process. Tradition? Jack C. Wilson is a name you know. The longest-standing roofing company in Northeast Florida. They have been repairing and replacing asphalt shingle roofs since 1946. How about quality? A roof you will tell your neighbors about. Quality from start to finish, shingle by shingle. You can request a free estimate at jackcwilsonroofing.com. It's the first name in Jacksonville roofing. And make sure you let them know Brent Martineau sent you.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio. You know where you win games, Dan? In the trenches on Sundays.
Appreciate all your thoughts on this matter.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stuttgarts on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Trey Wingo here from Golic & Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane. Give the guys a call. Grab your cell phone and call ** 690. This is ESPN 690.
And obviously, that's what we put out on the field is on me, and it wasn't good enough. And I'm always going to be every week doing the same thing, going back through, seeing mistakes that were made, and calls I don't like, protection schemes, route combinations, all those type of things, run game schemes. It's always going to be, ever changing as far as what we need to do better and what we need to emphasize. And obviously, I haven't found the formula yet to make us anything close to consistent.
That's New York Jets head coach Adam Gase. And the New York Jets, the best way to describe them right now might be Gase's eyes.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, too, because the guy's rocking a nice beard now. It's almost like he's losing his mind in New York. That's what it appears. He's becoming unstable.
And I don't know how you couldn't right now.
How
There's a
stable
lot
was he
going
when
on.
he got there is the question.
We're going to talk about the New York Jets here in the Ballin' and Fallin' segment. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, bringing Action Sports Jack's Stuart Weber as we just keep getting people from downstairs to come on upstairs.
Why not?
The elevator's open.
Oh, carousel. I had to share some memories of Cinque Terre with Johnny
You've
Box.
been to Italy, too?
You were there, too?
Oh, yeah. I went in 2017.
Nice.
It's a good year. Good,
Weber's
good
a world traveler.
I guess so, yeah.
Ireland coming up here.
Ireland coming up.
I'm excited about that.
I'm still waiting to go on my honeymoon, man.
After the Jags game,
my wife's going to be all
take a couple extra days.
Weber takes
here in
extended
John
vacations in the London trip. Smart move.
That's not a bad play. It's a power move.
He's such a cheap ass.
Hey, work flies me over there, so it's halfway there.
Do you stay in the hostels?
No.
I thought they're cheap.
If it was me, but I'm with the girlfriend, so that wouldn't work for her.
Okay.
She's not. She is not like that. So.
Seen too many movies.
This will tell you it all about Weber.
Okay.
He went to Japan like 3 summers ago.
That was 2016, I think. 15 or 16, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, a while ago. He
A
went
while ago.
by himself.
Yeah, I know. That's pretty aggressive.
Who the heck goes to Japan by yourself?
Certainly not me.
No plans
and
either.
enjoyed it.
What'd you do?
Like, I just bought the ticket and went and then figured it out from there.
Well, what'd you do?
For like a week and a half. I just explored. I took it all in, ate
Went
lots
to a
of
soccer
sushi.
game, went to a baseball
went to
game,
soccer,
right?
went to baseball, went
Is the sushi over there a lot like it is over here, or is it completely different?
It's simpler.
Yeah.
Like here we
they
do
don't
lots
have
of
the cream cheese
very
and
elaborate
the
fried
deep-fried
rolls
stuff.
and all this stuff. It's very simple there. It's the rice, it's the fish, it's a little bit of wasabi. It's
But as far as the taste is concerned, is it?
It's good. Yeah,
Okay,
it's good.
yeah.
It's good.
I'd go to Japan right now to watch Tiger play.
There you go.
I bet you would.
Yeah.
Zozo
Elite.
Championship.
How about that?
I bet you
Speaking
would.
of,
Yeah.
how about I go a little balling?
Go. Let's
Hey,
hear
man,
it.
if I get Tiger
Right in the
Woods open
segment.
here on some balling, I'm doing it. Sorry.
Tiger or Phil.
Sorry, Washington Nationals, but we
Yeah.
talked about you earlier.
Sure.
You were my balling yesterday, I think.
Yep.
But Tiger, man, I look at three over through 3 holes. I'm like, whatever.
Here we
Tiger
go
always
again. We've
starts.
seen this show.
He always starts this way. Hasn't played in 2 months. All right, whatever. Man, I circle back a little bit later on. He's 4 under par. He's tied for the lead. Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
I had to go back and watch some of that.
Yep.
So Tiger had it going. Who knows where it ends up.
Well-
But I will say this. Tiger looks physically, he looks fantastic. Looks in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
And had the game working a little bit yesterday.
Him and Phil getting in shape now. Look at
Is
this.
Phil in shape too?
Phil lost a lot of weight.
Oh, did he?
Oh my goodness. He played in like one of the off events a couple weeks ago, and like he was so skinny. It was
Really?
insane.
Is he starving himself again until he wins one or something?
He might be, but
Wasn't he doing that?
chewing that CBD gum. Who knows?
He was fasting until like he played well or something, I thought.
Yeah, Phil might fast just like the guy sits on the billboard until your team wins. That's what Phil's doing.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, well,
I don't know. Well,
Phil looked good. I'll
better
say
step
that.
his game up or he's going to be sticks in a little bit here. Okay.
All right, what you got for ball?
Ballin'. Brent, an LSU fan, has a dilemma going on right now. Last June, Matt Porter placed a $50 bet on Joe Burrows to win the Heisman Trophy. Well, with the odds that were in play, he's in line right now to net $10,000 if Burrows indeed wins the Heisman Trophy. The problem is he's been getting offers of $3,500 and $4,000 to sell that ticket stub right now and just take the cash and walk away. What do you do?
How much could he win?
$10,000.
And how much he's getting offers for $4,000?
$3,500. Yeah, up to $4,000.
Take the money. Are you kidding me?
No way. $10,000. It's not enough. You got to roll the dice. $3,000, $4,000. $10,000's way better.
Yeah. So you're gonna keep on
a
placing
$50. I'm taking that money right now.
Well,
for the bets and the odds of it, I don't know.
You know what?
If you actually, here's the deal. If you win in Vegas, right, at $10,000,
yeah.
I mean, how much you got to tax? Some that's going to be taxed.
Mm-hmm.
So that $3,500, $4,000 ticket might not be bad.
What are the odds right now on Burrows? I wonder.
I think he's a favorite. Well, because Tua just went down.
Well,
so you got Jalen Hurts and you have
Fields.
Burrow.
Well, yeah, Fields too, a little bit. Yeah,
and
we
Fields.
need to play that music eventually.
Hey, Goose.
How
you doing?
Doing a radio show over here.
And we got Justin Fields. And I think Jonathan Taylor kind of lost his stock a little bit now that Wisconsin lost. I don't know what's happening anymore.
You were just everywhere right there.
Yeah, I'm literally hearing myself and I'm trying to talk.
I feel like I'm hearing ghosts.
I think I just broke like the fifth wall. If there is a fifth wall.
All right.
But yeah, so
taking that ticket's not a bad idea. But
I'm taking that money. I'm saving like $3,000 of it, and then I reinvest $1,000 in the current odds.
That's good.
And then boom, you can
make
it.
outsmart this thing.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
hedge bets may be smart. What's wrong with being smart?
That might not be worse than for Mattress Mac guy in
Hey,
Houston.
I think if it's me, Brent, I'm probably going to sell as well because LSU plays in the SEC, right? So they're probably going to lose at least one game as opposed to Oklahoma with Jalen Hurts right now, the Big 12. I think they have an easier schedule. And I get it. Sometimes it's not the undefeated team that gets the Heisman winner, but it helps. So I'd probably sell for $3,500.
All right. How about some Fallen and Jalen Ramsey in the conversation again? And did you see this? When New York Post gets you on the personal life stuff.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey made his relationship with girlfriend Monica Giovanna Instagram official.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Instagram official. What world are
we
living in?
Yep.
What world are we living in? But 109,000 likes. Not everyone is pleased. Giants receiver Golden Tate, the brother of Ramsey's ex-girlfriend, who he has 2 children with. So they had split up. And Tate replied to a tweet and said, quote, he going to have to see me.
Yeah.
End of quote.
So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen now, Brent.
And apparently this is a Las Vegas stripper. Is that?
I don't know. Yeah. She's an Instagram influencer, so very well could be.
Is that what somebody said?
I don't know. That's what
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
But yeah, you're just
But I just put it out there.
What are they playing? Are they playing this weekend? Or when the Rams play the Giants?
Did they play this weekend?
No, the Rams are in London this weekend.
Yeah, no, they don't play them. They play the Bengals this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to mark my calendars here. Hang on.
So you can get ready for that one.
November 5th. Okay. No, my bad.
My money's on Ramsey.
Well, whenever it is. I'm going to tell you right now, Brent. So whenever they play, and that'll probably be on a Sunday, we can assume. When we go to the wall that says it all and we do the Jaguars breakdown, I'm canceling that, and it's going to be the wall that says it all, who wins the fight between Golden Tate and Jalen Ramsey. And I'm going to break the fight down because it's probably going to happen.
Good.
Yeah. So the wall that says it all, or the green that, the screen that brings the green, as I prefer.
I heard that earlier. That's
you like
beautiful.
that?
Yeah.
I know. It's copywritten. We're going to break down that fight.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Without even breaking down their attributes, the reach, everything else, I think I would put my money on Ramsey.
You like Ramsey? I feel like Tate's scrappy, though, man. I feel like the slot receivers are always scrappy.
Although I've said this to somebody, do you think Jalen Ramsey's ever even been in a fight?
With A.J. Green.
Yeah, but that was like I get it.
Yeah.
You think he has?
I truly has. Yeah. Dude, any guy with that kind of personality has probably found himself in a fight before.
Yeah, I wondered that. Because there was a lot of conversation about it.
As respectful as possible.
Against Golden Gloves Tate? I don't know, man.
Oh, I like that.
Tell you what.
But Ramsey has a great reach.
I might have to break him down tomorrow. Get a little preview going on.
Now, the good thing about Golden Tate is he'd have the emotion side on him. But he's going to be careful to be not too emotional.
Yeah, you don't want to let it take you over.
So, we'll see. All right, what you got for Fallen?
So, Fallen, Brent, you mentioned that the New York Jets facing a lot of problems. One of the big stories coming from their camp right now is offensive lineman Kalichi Osemele. Said it right. Took me a while, but we got there finally.
We think we said it right.
Yeah, I hope so. All due respect to Kalichi. But he's been told by 2 doctors that needs to have shoulder surgery for having a torn labrum. All right. Not a big deal. It happens in the NFL. Well, the problem is that the New York Jets team doctor has not cleared him for surgery. And since the team doctor has not cleared Kalichi for surgery, they are fining him now because he refuses to practice, and they are fining him game checks because he refuses to practice with his torn labrum.
He even tweeted out the doctor's notes, I think, right, or Instagrammed or whatever.
Yeah. So listen, this is
This is a bleep show in New York.
Well, this is a bleep show, and this is listen. I've dealt with something like this before. So after this segment, we got to come back and talk about it a little bit more.
I wanted to ask you about that because,
yeah.
and I'll also say this: we just brought up Ramsey.
Yeah.
This is why the Jags didn't call Ramsey out on the back injury.
Yep.
These are the kind of things you got to be really careful with this stuff, and the Jets are looking really bad in this situation right now.
It's a torn labrum. I mean, you can see that on an MRI.
But even if you didn't show me the MRI,
sure.
My point is they are the ones that look bad in all of this.
Let's get into it.
The Jets look real bad, and your experience on this subject coming up next on ESPN 690.
What's up, Jacksonville? This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The holidays are on the rise. Celebrate with the family and friends by serving a delicious honey-baked ham on your Thanksgiving table. Throughout the entire month of November, all high hand winners will receive an 8-pound honey-baked ham. Head to either Best Bet location and pick up your Thanksgiving dinner today. For more detailed information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
To none, and 20-year-old Nats outfielder Juan Soto has been on base 6 times in 2 games. ESPN's Chris Singleton.
It's because this guy is fully invested into every single pitch as a battle. And it's really impressive.
Chris Singleton on Golick and Wingo. Game 3 tomorrow night at Nationals Park in D.C. 2 more teams have new managers. The Phillies will hire former big league catcher Joe Girardi, who managed the Yankees for 10 years, including their last World Series title in 2009. And ESPN's Jeff Passan reports Jace Tingler is the new manager of the Padres. NFL Week 8 kicks off tonight in Minnesota. The Vikings hosting the Redskins. Jaguars defensive lineman Marcel Darius had core muscle surgery today. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks.
It's October, which means it's Geico-ing. Don't be scared by high rates on car insurance. This Geico-ing, get a quote with Geico and see how much you could save. Maybe so much, it's scary. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I just finished watching our old game from 17 when we played against Cleveland, and I think they was ranked high in the Russian I think like 2 or 3, and man, they're gonna come ready to play. I know for a fact that defensive coordinator, he loves stopping the run. He's gonna try to make the quarterback beat him, number one, and our job is to grind it out. It's gonna be a fist fight and just get ready for it.
That's Leonard Fournette today. Stuart Weber was down there for that, and we'll see if Leonard can keep it up, man. 715 yards rushing, leads the AFC, 3rd in the NFL. He's been fantastic so far this season. That was after a sluggish start. I mean, he's really been good and consistent here the last month or so and needs to be again on Sunday for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Action Sports Jack, Stuart Weber. Coos here as well. Hey, coming up at 5:30, if you missed it earlier, we're going to try it again with Yannick Ngakoue. We really broke him down from Cincinnati's game, and it was a resume game for Yannick Ngakoue. And we've talked so much about Yannick, from no, he's not going to be traded, to yes, he should get a contract, and they need to make that happen soon, to the entire offseason, the holdout. It's really been a lot of Yannick Ngakoue talk, really just as much as Jalen Ramsey, probably, if you wanted to count how many times we've said both players' names.
Yeah.
So this is a good illustration, though, of, I think, how much he's grown as a football player. That's coming up at the bottom of the hour on the wall that says it all. A little video demonstration as well for all of you folks on the social media channels. Before we get to the fallen on the injury stuff and what you just said, and your experience with the Jets are just a complete mess. And now there's a report that Robbie Anderson wants out, and they might try to trade him. Who's really outside of Le'Veon Bell, their best offensive player.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and we'll get into it in a little bit. But did we all see this coming, though?
Yeah.
I mean this was. But
can we streamline that trade? Can we get that done here? I don't know, before Sunday.
Yeah. Well, if they really want to trade him, they might even keep him out of a game so he doesn't get hurt. Depending on how they view that with the trade deadline on Tuesday.
Yes.
But before we do that, every front office person in Houston might want to not say anything again ever.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we got the whole Daryl Morley thing with Houston and China. Mm-hmm. And now, what's this guy's name?
Brandon Taubman. Assistant general manager
He's
for the Astros.
He's an assistant GM.
Yep.
And, of course, this is the big story with the Sports Illustrated and with the Osuna conversation. And there were some reporters, I think, that are – help me get the story right. That help write for domestic violence, and they were trying to interview Osuna during this. Is that right?
Yeah, I feel like they had done a piece already on it, on the fact that Osuna had been, had that past.
Yes.
And so
that was a big controversy last year.
When they signed him, yeah,
yes.
No doubt.
And rightfully so. It should have been a controversy. He was suspended for 75 games by Major League Baseball.
Yes.
But the bottom line is, the way I interpret this whole story is the fact that there was an article being written about it, and that he's part of their World Series team and all that. They got the interview, but then Taubman comes down the hallway somewhere in this whole deal and yells,
in the celebration for the ALCS,
"We're so glad we have Osuna," right? Something like that.
And it was kind of directed towards these female writers,
yes,
who had put together this thing,
story.
This piece.
So that's kind of it. Well, he got fired today?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of blowback on this. Now, the other part of it was the Houston Astros screwed it up. I mean, they made their statement kind of discredited anything that the Sports Illustrated article or the first publication about this whole incident took place, and they said, they ripped them, really. They just said, I can't believe they would run with something like this. Well, it turns out that all these witnesses said, yeah, it happened. I mean, it happened plain as day. I'm not sure he gets fired. I'm not sure it becomes such a big issue if Houston, in their initial statement, doesn't respond so poorly. Maybe he still does get fired. But I did see, Jeff Passan today talking about it. He said all signs point to that he is probably going to be let go. And bam, a couple hours later, he is let go. So, I mean, again, front office, Houston, this is not good. This is a bad look in Houston the last month, even though they have really good sports teams. I mean, the Texans might be playoff bound. The Houston Astros have been unbelievable. The Rockets think they can compete for a championship, and it's all being drowned out right now by a couple of front office folks.
I'm a little disappointed in the Houston Dynamo's performance this year, but yes.
And if you were in Houston right now, think about this too. Remember Rick Smith? Got fired, the GM for the Texans.
Oh, yeah,
he had a 5-year
yeah.
deal.
Yep.
No, was that Rick Smith? That was the old GM for Houston. But the GM for Houston, the newer one that got a 5-year deal, got fired at the start of the year after 1 year on a 5-year deal. And then it was Bill O'Brien that was under fire a little bit because
Brian Gain, by the way.
Gain, thank you. Rick Smith was the old one. It was O'Brien who makes the trade for Laramie Tunsil, and at the time looked like he gave away the world for him. Like, what are we doing here, Houston? So they've had if you're covering the Houston sports teams right now,
you got stuff to talk about.
I mean, you can talk about good on the field, but the front office stuff has been a mess in the last calendar year. All right.
Okay.
There we go.
Houston sidebar.
That's a Houston sidebar, but that just came down, right?
Yes, just came breaking news.
Thank you very much. All right, now the Jets.
Yeah.
This is another. Speaking of a mess,
Yep.
the Jets are a mess. They want to get rid of Robbie Anderson, or he wants out. They might trade him. From ghosts to toenails for Darnold. Darnold did practice fully. They are 1-5. The Jets are
correct.
The one is not good.
Yeah, 1-5. He had mono. Adam Gase has weird eyes.
Well, hang on. Let's go back in time though, quick. Let's start how this came to fruition. Adam Gase gets hired from Miami. Miami was an absolute crap show. The culture, they lost the locker room. It was a mess in Miami. Someone thought it was a good idea to bring Gase to New York. When Gase gets there, he says that he didn't agree with how much they paid Le'Veon Bell. He didn't agree with how much they paid C.J. Mosley. Off to a bad start right from there. And then, obviously, it progresses to what we're at now.
And
but that was the setting the scene. That was the tempo.
And so they've had all these issues.
Yeah.
And they obviously are not very good right now on the field either. And who knows? I mean, yeah, like you said, the Gase hiring was a little questionable to begin with. Who knows how good he can be? But now this assembly deal is bigger than all this.
Yeah.
I mean, because if a guy is in need of surgery, yet they're not signing off on it. Wow. I mean, what a big time issue for your point of view, because you played, you know how this stuff works.
Yeah.
I mean, you want the organization and your second opinion doctor and you and meaning the athlete to be, stride for stride on the medical front.
Yeah.
And you want to avoid these kind of situations.
So listen, in the NFL, and I've been with both scenarios here. When I was in Jacksonville, had a guy by the name of Mike Ryan, who was the head athletic trainer. Mike Ryan, Brent, who I think you know pretty well. He was a solid dude. And the cool thing about Mike Ryan is that he was an athlete himself. He was a former not even former. I think he's still doing like the Ironman.
He does the triathlons
yeah, he's
and
still
Ironman,
doing it, which is insane. So like, the guy knows athletes, okay? Like he knows his own body, right? So me and Mike Ryan had a great relationship. And it's not always like that, where there's some teams where you go to and it's almost like, obviously, the athletic trainers, they obviously want you to play on the field, because if you can play on the field, then it makes them look good, right? So sometimes they may feel pressure from a head coach or a GM to get you back on the field sooner rather than later. Mike Ryan was never like that. Even when I had my Liz Frank injury, which was a pretty serious injury, Mike Ryan went to bat for me and basically said he'll be ready when he's ready. And then there was talks of like, well, do you set him out for the year? You put him on IR? And Mike Ryan again went to bat for me. He's like, the kid wants to play, we'll make sure he's ready to play, and whether that detailed having to get out of meetings early so I could wrap my foot. It took a 30-minute tape job to get my foot ready for practice every single day. Joe Cullen was mad about it. Joe Cullen and Mike Ryan may have got into it a little bit, but Mike Ryan always had my back. So that's a rare instance where it's cool to have a head athletic trainer have your back, okay? Now let's go to New York real quick. Everything that we've been presented here, all the details, Osemele has seen 2 doctors. They gave him MRIs. He has a torn labrum. I've had a torn labrum. Now, I get what you're going to say. Well, some athletes can play with a torn labrum. And that's true. I tore my labrum in training camp. I played 5 games throughout the season during the regular season, and I finally had enough in Pittsburgh, where I was on special teams, went for a tackle, shoulder popped out of socket. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It keeps popping in and out. This is ridiculous. I need to have surgery. I'm out for the season. And Mike Ryan said, that's cool. What we have here is the fact that this guy has a torn labrum. It's been documented. And you have a team doctor who, for whatever reason, is either feeling pressure from the head coach, from the GM, but it's like they need Osemele to play. And the doctor is not clearing him, even though even the player is saying, listen, I can't play. I just can't go out there and play. I mean, do you think Osemele is to the point where he wants to go on IR on purpose? Like, do you think he's so fed up with New York that he wants to go on IR on purpose? Absolutely not, because once you go on IR, you don't make all your money. When you go on IR, you lose, I think it's 50% of what you would make during the regular season, because you're not on the active roster anymore. So this isn't some kind of power move, I think, by Osemele that's saying, you know what, I'm tired of New York, I'm going on IR, and I'm going to wash my hands of all this. No, the guy is actually hurt, and the training staff in New York's not listening. It's a problem.
That is a huge problem. And the bigger problem to me, all the medical stuff should never be in question. Again, it's not too far-fetched now to bring you back to a couple weeks ago here with Jalen Ramsey, missing 3 games, and everybody sitting here questioning the back and all that and saying, well, he could play. This is why you can't do that. This is why now listen, fans can do it if you want. I think players can do it because they know what people are going through. Teams cannot do it. You never heard once the Jaguars come out and say, Yeah, well, who knows? I mean, I guess. Like, he never did that. Doug Marrone didn't. Doug Marrone defended him to the hilt, and that was it. So that was smart to do, unless you have this ultimate proof that the back is fine. Now, just because you've been cleared, still it's up to the player.
Well, but this is my issue, and this is why I'm so heated over this, Brent. It's because with Jalen Ramsey's back issue, yeah, maybe you get an MRI, maybe you get a CAT scan, and you don't see anything, right? Like, I mean, a back is hard to tell all the nerves and everything. Yeah. Maybe you have a pinched nerve, but it doesn't show up on the results.
But it's also very hard for a back to come up clean on any person in the world.
Yeah, very
especially
true.
an NFL player.
But my issue is when you get an MRI and you see there's a blatant tear in your labrum, just point to it and say, this is torn. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
The fact that they see the results and they're like, oh, he's still good to play. He can still play. It just baffles me.
Yeah.
It absolutely baffles me.
This is a strange one to try to defend if you're the organization, right? I mean, I don't get it. Like, why are they trying to fight this? Why are they playing hardball with this guy? And at the other part of it is this. It's like a lot of times when you're 1-5, it's like you'll err on the side of caution with players and put them on IR, right? Instead of
to the future
when
a
you
little
know
bit.
you're not going. I mean, they're chasing New England and Buffalo, who are a combined 1 loss.
So basically, what it comes down to, Brent, is the fact that they believe he can still play with a torn labrum. And I'm not going to say anything that people don't know already about Puz, but Puz played an entire season on a torn labrum, and then he had shoulder surgery after it. Played the whole season on it. Some guys are just different. So some labrum tears are more severe than others.
Yeah.
But
Some people's pain tolerance is different.
But I'm just saying, from a guy who had a pretty damn severe labrum tear, it's not easy to play, especially in the trenches playing offensive tackle. Good luck with that.
Yeah. The bottom line here is the Jets are a mess.
Yeah, if I stub my toe, I'm not coming in. Brent, just so you know. Pain tolerance.
People ask all the time, too, about the toe. Like, Cam Robinson's got a toe.
Yeah.
But that toe must...
There's a lot of weight on a toe now.
And we can't forget the point either. They're finding him game checks. All right? Like,
that's $579,000 a week.
This guy's losing a lot of money.
Yeah. But he's going to have a big grievance here, I think.
I hope so. Because it's absolutely ridiculous.
Now, listen, the Jags just dealt with, like, the whole Ramsey saga, and they worked through it. The Jets have so much going on. It's a different ballgame, and it's in New York, where they don't stop talking about it at all. You thought we talked about Ramsey so much you wanted me to stop talking about him. I can guarantee they're talking about all this stuff in New York. More football talk when we come back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Mostly cloudy tonight with a few brief showers developing and temperatures only dropping to near 70 degrees. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds that guarantees you a $500 gift card if they can't beat anybody's price on a diamond.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Want to hear something crazy? Last month, our friends at Arlington Toyota offered prices up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. Want to hear something really crazy? Arlington is extending the sale. The 2020 Super Sales Event has been extended at Arlington Toyota. So come in today and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. That's up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota CHR, it's not $22,660. Now it's only $17,988. That's $17,988 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota CHR at Arlington Toyota. How about a Toyota Tacoma? It's not $29,635. No way. It's just $23,888. $23,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Tacoma at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you get Arlington's $5,000 Advantage Club and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy sex, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in male enhancement. Just take one capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to Walmart and get Ageless Male Tonight.
So guys, how many of you are guilty of using your wife or your girlfriend's shampoo in the shower? Quite a few, I imagine. Have you considered the importance of using a product designed for your hair? Yes, men's hair. After all, your hair is different. Dove Men Plus Care has created a hair care range designed to fortify men's hair and give it the care it needs to stay strong and healthy. Do your family and your hair a favor and get your own products. Dove Men Plus Care for stronger, more resilient hair. Available at Walmart.
Golick and Wingo are coming to Jacksonville for the Florida-Georgia game.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo. I want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works on Friday, November 1st. To register for your chance to win VIP passes, go to ESPN690.com.
I'm Kevin Hardy, former All-Pro linebacker for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is Action Sports Jax.
Man, I wish I would have got paid. But like I say, it's all about the player too. You know what I mean? And if you really need it, you know, some guys that I know I play with come from single-parent homes. You know, their mother's working a job and things like that. And I say, why not? A lot of these colleges make so much amount of money off the players, and I figure they should.
Well, there's Leonard Fournette on the pay-for-play in Florida, supported
He's
by
strong
the
about it, yeah.
governor, and I'm glad he was, because again, we were talking with John Bachman earlier. I mean, Leonard's a guy that this has impacted the Booger Nation stuff, and he obviously was a big-time athlete at LSU, a well-known athlete, and these are the guys that can get money for their likeness, you know? So I think Leonard Fournette's a great example of it, and someone that you want to hear from, whether you disagree or agree, he's someone that you want to hear his opinion about it. And there was Leonard Fournette today on that. So that continues to be a big topic in the state and really around the NCAA. And that thing is moving and grooving.
Ryan Nelson has the story tonight on Action News.
Is he doing the story?
Yes.
So tonight, probably shortly on CBS 47 and Fox 30. All right, you were in that locker room today. And obviously Leonard. Who else did you say you talked to?
AJ Boye.
How's he doing?
He's
New
good.
dad.
He looked a little tired, suffice to say. I mean, he had just gotten there, so I don't think he practiced today. Based on the injury report, it had a dash under his name, which I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It was weird.
I've never seen that before.
The dash. I think they meant to put something in there, but I don't think he practiced it. Practiced it.
There we go. This is a nice save, nice recovery. But boy or girl? Did they have a boy or girl?
It was a girl, yeah.
Name?
She does have a name, yes.
Well, we don't know. Okay.
Well,
sorry, man. Sorry.
Know this stuff.
I just get excited about babies, man. I want to hear babies' names. Sorry, man. Sorry, I was excited for that.
No, you're allowed to be excited. I just
cool.
don't.
You got another baby on the way?
No. We're all set.
You done it one?
We're all good right now.
One and done.
I said right now.
We're just both busy people right now, Stuart.
Yeah, there we go.
Thanks for
but
asking.
no, so AJ was very excited about that. Said everyone's doing well, and now he's ready to get back to work.
Oh, here's the deal on
get ready for the Sam Darnold. Make him see some ghosts.
Here's the injury report for the Jags. Linder, Norwell, Robinson, and Campbell limited in action. Good news, Cam Robinson back in a limited fashion for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
AJ Boye, they had a baby girl.
I thought you were going to come up with the name.
Yeah, I thought we were going to have the name. We established it was a girl.
Ryan Elizabeth, so he'll be flying in tonight.
There you go.
Ryan Elizabeth, or was that the middle name? I feel like we didn't get the whole thing.
No, we get
Ryan Elizabeth, so he'll be flying in tonight.
Ryan Elizabeth. Thanks. That just made my name.
Hey,
you can talk, You could just
But good on Doug, by the way, for having the name and everything
See,
ready.
me and Doug
Middle
are on the
name,
same
too.
page.
I mean, I was in that press conference yesterday, so I probably should have known it. Ryan, Rhyan,
All right.
Elizabeth.
Cool. Even better.
Ryan Elizabeth.
Congratulations. There we go.
Sorry for wanting to know that, Brent.
Ryan and Ronan. Sounds good.
So the Jaguars have obviously Marcel Darius, Quincy Williams, Najee Good, Leon Jacobs, D.D. Westbrook all not practicing. Westbrook continues to nurse that shoulder, and he told us in Cincinnati that actually happened a while back in the Denver game. And so he's been working on that.
I'm not worried about it. He looked okay with that shoulder this last game.
That's what's amazing about Dede, and I continue to rave about Dede. But on the first catch of the game, I think he caught it maybe about an 8-9 yard play, and he lowers the shoulder and picks up 4 or 5 more yards. I continue to be amazed at Dede's physical nature. He just does not look. He looks like the guy that wants to, juke a couple of guys and get out of bounds.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. And he does not. That's part of his game, is physical. I think I brought this up earlier in the week. I think 5 out of his 6 catches were for first downs. And I think if you're a defender with Dede Westbrook, even though you see it on tape, and even though he doesn't mind being physical, it has to play in your mind a little that, all right, the guy's like 100 and whatever pounds. I have to be careful of him. He's quick. He's crafty. He's all this stuff. He can do a lot of different things. But the last thing on my mind when I'm thinking about Dede Westbrook is that he can be a physical receiver. And I think he surprises people sometimes on the defensive side. He just must. He has to.
Yeah, it's very unassuming, right? Because one of the first things you do if you're on that defense, you're scouting players, is what do, Brent? You go to the roster and you see how big and tall they are. When you see Dede Westbrook pop up, you're not intimidated, But then when you start watching film a little bit, it's almost like Dede's got that linebacker mentality. He doesn't really have the making business decisions wide receiver mentality. He's a little different. And I think anytime you kind of have that dog in you, especially at the wide receiver position, and there's been a lot of guys that I've come across. I mean, one that stands out to me is Andre Johnson. But also Andre Johnson was a behemoth of a man, But every once in a while, and it's definitely a rare occurrence because you don't get those dogs in the wide receivers that much, but Dede Westbrook definitely has that.
He has been great. I wonder what more they'll do with him if they continue the game plan with him. I think Chris Conley needs to get more involved, although he was a little bit more last week. And obviously DJ Chark. And almost now DJ Chark has been a little bit quiet the last couple of weeks, relatively, because he got off to such a good start.
But it goes to show you what teams think about the wide receiving core, right? Because in the beginning of the season, I think teams were focused more on Dede Westbrook. He was the quote-unquote one receiver. All the fantasy websites are saying, pick up Dede Westbrook, pick up Dede Westbrook. Well, all of a sudden, here comes DJ Chark, strings together a couple good games. Now teams are taking note on DJ Chark. Look no further than this the New Orleans Saints game where they put their best cover guy, Lattimore, on DJ Chark.
Yeah.
DJ with that nice walk in the tightrope, by the way.
Yes.
That was pretty.
Were you surprised that did not get overturned?
I was a little surprised.
A little bit. That was a little thank you very much.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. I was up there with Jags. I was right in front of Jags PR, and he said, they were like, well, it's going to be a catch, but it's coming back like however many yards, right?
11 or 12.
We were all like, wow, that didn't get overturned.
Let's just go with it. Okay.
You complain about them when they don't go your way. You never acknowledge them when they do go your way.
It always balances out, Brent, doesn't it? They always find a way to balance them out. Yeah.
I don't know if New Orleans says
New Orleans is still disagreeing with me, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
So hopefully Marquise Lee comes back this week. Would love to have him back out there. And I think it's great to see Keelan Cole getting involved as well. I mean, to get that touchdown, to boost the confidence a little bit, to know that you can have a role in this group when you get thrown out there and come through. It's good.
That's a tight group, too.
Yeah.
It's a tight group and a group that, we've all said, I think I told you, Gardner Minshew said on Jags Report Live, very unselfish group, and you almost get that sense. Like, that can be a very cliche type of thing to say, but you almost get the sense they rooting for each other. I mean, you see the videos come out of the locker room with Cole and stuff inside the laundry bin, I mean, they
saw that,
and I'll tell you what I've learned now, every position group on that football team seems to have like a Thursday night dinner now. A lot of times it's the offensive lineman, and Leonard Fournette talked about that last week, about how he, once after those first 3 games, he struggled, that he said, you know what, guys, let's get together. We know each other a little bit, but not as much as we should. And so they get together, the running backs and O-line. But I think the receivers get together, and they've lost. This isn't like new.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I hear all the time, like, because we get guests for All Access, and some of them are concerned, hey, I want to get to the dinner that we have coming up at 8 o'clock or whatever. But Miles Jack had to run off to a linebacker dinner last week.
Tell them to have an mellow mushroom. I mean, come on.
Well, I told them, I said, we can get the whole offensive line. Just come on out. Now, they might be out of pizza if we did that.
Yeah.
But you guys did that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But did every group do it?
As far as I know, not, and it's hard for me to say. I don't think so. Like, obviously, when I was in Jacksonville, we had like the D-line dinners. You used to always go at the Cheesecake Factory for whatever reason. I think Terrence Knighton had an addiction to the avocado egg roll things. That's why we had to go to Cheesecake Factory.
I'm surprised you guys didn't see me bouncing.
That's a good point. But I'll tell you what, man, in Chicago, it was a little more aggressive because we'd go to Michael Jordan's Steakhouse, which is a little more pricey. And get this, man. Do you know what credit card roulette is?
Yes,
I've heard about it.
So every single time we went to Michael Jordan's restaurant, the entire defensive line, we played credit card roulette. For those listening that don't know what credit card roulette is, basically you put all your credit cards in a pile and you make the waitress pick a credit card. Believe me when I tell you, I played 3 times. Went to Michael Jordan's restaurant 3 times. I was never so scared in my entire life, Brent, because listen, like this is like a $6,000 tab. So anytime my card didn't get picked, I would be tiger fist pumping throughout the whole restaurant, being like, "You bet, nice free and easy meal tonight." It was intense, man.
It's like Jordan just got away with a push off to beat Utah.
Exactly. Credit card roulette, it's intense, man.
Hurts my heart just thinking about it.
Hey, if you missed it earlier in the show, we're going to do it right now. Yannick Ngakoue. We take him to the wall that says it all and break down really a resume building game. An exclamation point game. Give me the money kind of game for Yannick Ngakoue. It's next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. The Jags defense took a massive hit as defensive tackle Marcel Darius will be off the board for 4 to 6 weeks with a core muscle injury. And speaking of the Jags, they play the one-win Jets this Sunday. This is Calais Campbell explaining why that is a dangerous situation.
Usually when a team gets blown out, they usually come, a lot more focused and locked in that next week. They're going to be locked in and focused, so we're going to have to, definitely come in and handle whatever kind of injury they bring.
And in the World Series, the Nationals took a 2-game lead last night after crushing the Astros at home 12-3. Game 3 is Friday night from Washington. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
Luxury begins at the door of Atlantic Infinity with your concierge, no-pressure customer experience.
Only one.
Hey, everybody,
Atlantic
welcome back to Action Sports Jax.
Experience the wave of luxury in person at 10980 Atlantic Boulevard or at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back
The
to Action Sports
DTSP
Jax on
Songwriters
ESPN.
Festival is 3 days of music and stories. Over 100 free acoustic performances from over 35 national singer-songwriters like Ed Roland of Collective Soul, the Warren Brothers, John Ford Coley, and a special event with Modest Yahoo. November 1st through the 3rd in beautiful downtown St. Petersburg, Florida. Details at DTSPSongwritersFestival.com or like us on Facebook at DTSP Songwriters Festival. Brought to you by Funky Buddha Brewery. Visit St. Pete Clearwater and HD Radio.
Want to hear something crazy? Last month, our friends at Arlington Toyota offered prices up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. Want to hear something really crazy? Arlington is extending the sale. The 2020 Super Sales Event has been extended at Arlington Toyota. So come in today and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. That's up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Highlander, it's not $35,000. Now it's only $24,688. Yeah, $24,688 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Highlander at Arlington Toyota. How about a Toyota RAV4? It's not $29,865. No way. It's just $21,888. $21,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota RAV4 at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you get Arlington's $5,000 Advantage Club and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
When the time comes to get your roof replaced, call Big Fish Roofing. We don't require any upfront deposits, and we are locally owned and operated by Jacksonville natives who have built their business on quality and integrity. At Big Fish Roofing, we know your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, so we make sure to deliver a quality project in a timely manner. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing, or give us a call at 904-685-8334.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Family, food, and football. Renna's Pizza checks the box on all three. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And your home for football all fall. Watch the games and dine in at Renna's 5 locations, or let Renna's help with your football get-together. A menu to satisfy the entire family's appetite. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Renna's Pizza.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with an experienced real estate team with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 1057788.
Minimum fee may apply. Not licensed in all 50 states. Visit rexhomes.com to see if Rex is available in your area. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Golick and Wingo are coming to Jacksonville for the Florida-Georgia game.
Hey, everybody. Trey Wingo. I want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works on Friday, November 1st. To register for your chance to win VIP passes, go to ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane at the wall that says it all, and we are going to talk all about Yannick Ngakoue here, and he's worth talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
He's been a fantastic player for the Jaguars. We talked about him the entire offseason with the contract. This has little to do with the contract.
Correct.
This is more about what he did on Sunday. The pick six was the big play, but it wasn't his only play.
Yeah.
So let's begin and get right into it, and as always, I like to remind folks that if you're listening, we appreciate it on ESPN 690 in your car or ESPN690.com. You're streaming us. That's great. We'll try to keep you, even though this is a little bit of a visual, we'll keep you informed and try to illustrate this as well as we can on the audio side. But we always invite you to go back to some of the social media platforms as well, Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Twitch, and you can see exactly what we're talking about, maybe even later on when you get a chance to do so. So here we go.
Yeah.
We begin with the first play. We're second quarter, inside 2 minutes to go. In the first half, Jaguars lead it 3-0 in that low-scoring affair. And in this formation, Yannick Ngakoue is at, well, the top of the screen, top end of the screen. He's in that right defensive end position.
Correct, yeah. So basically what we have here from the Bengals, we have a 2-by-2 look, which means there's 2 wide receivers on the left side, 2 wide receivers on the right side. Now, the running back motions from the opposite of Ngakoue's side, so the right side, motions to Ngakoue's side. Now keep that in mind as we progress forward.
Okay.
And the reason why I enjoy breaking this down is because Ngakoue is playing for a contract. Let's be honest here. And the big knock of him, well, some people want to say last year, was his ability to stop the run, right?
Undersized, they
if
say.
there's any question marks about Ngakoue, it's the fact that he's maybe a little undersized in his ability to stop the run. Well, some of these plays right here may put some of those rumors to bed a little bit, all right? So like I said, we got a 2-by-2 look, and the running back's lined up to his side. Okay, so now as we go down here, let's see how this play develops.
And right now the ball has now been snapped.
Correct. The ball is snapped right now. And listen, as far as the defense is concerned, I can go to my grandma right now in Iowa, Wisconsin and ask her, where does Ngakoue have? She's going to say the C gap. He has the outside. I mean, there's nothing, this is basic standard stuff right here. Ngakoue has the outside. But here's where, and we've heard Calais Campbell say this before, and I've said it before on this segment as well. Sometimes you can't be a robot. You have to be an athlete. And this is a prime example of Ngakoue using his instincts and becoming an athlete. As the play develops right here, and keep in mind, when he's a defensive end, he's not looking at the tackle. He's looking at the ball. He's looking inside of him, right? So any defensive end knows this. If you're in your stance or if you're in a two-point stance, you look down on the line and you see the ball. You don't concern yourself with the tackle. As he's looking, as the ball is snapped, something flashes in front of him, and it's the guard pulling. The guard is pulling away from him, okay? So that's telling him one thing. If the guard's pulling away from me, that means, well, I can go inside because there's no way the guard's going to pull and they're going to pitch outside, right?
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't make any sense.
They'd be on an island.
They'd be on an island, exactly. So Ngakoue realizes this. Ngakoue looks inside, sees the guard pulling, and realizes, you know what? I can make a play right here. So instead of just playing his C gap, he understands the guard's pulling, something's probably coming to him, and he swims inside.
All right.
Now,
before you get there, this
Yeah.
last illustration, by the way, there's a bunch of activity in the line of scrimmage.
Sure.
Josh Allen is running on the left side and running toward Joe Mixon, who now has the football in this part of the formation or this part of the play. And Yannick Ngakoue is beginning his swim move because of all the recognition that you just said. And there is a big gap over there because that left guard pulled.
Yeah.
So there's a big gap. He notices it. Mixon's still in the backfield with the football. And it looks like a pretty good size hole.
There is a big hole there.
On the left side.
Exactly. And now let's keep in mind, we talked about this before too. Like Calais Campbell said, sometimes you want to be an athlete, not a robot. Well, in Carolina, when Calais tried to do that, what happened? 88 out the gate. Christian McCaffrey had a good fantasy day for everybody. But right here, Ngakoue knows that the play has to come inside of him because if the play was going to go outside, they have to pitch the ball.
Yeah.
There's no way Dalton can hand the ball off to Mixon, and then Mixon can make that cut outside.
Before you go a little further, what is that recognition? Is that experience in the league? Is it film study? Where does it come from?
It's a little bit of everything. It's knowing the formation. It's understanding that the running back right now is on your side. He always knows that, right? So once the running back is on your side, there's only so many things that they can do. It's also experience. It's also noticing the guard is moving down. If you're a rookie defensive end, sometimes I feel like you just want to make it. You just want to make sure you don't screw up or anything. But as you get more reps, as you progress, then you can start noticing the little nuances, like the guards pulling, like where the running back's out in the backfield and things like that.
One last question. Is this elementary from a recognition standpoint? Football people should know this, and a football player of his stature should know this? Or is it a bit more advanced?
This is a bit more advanced because he commits to it so fast. It'd be one thing to see, all right, so the guard's pulling, maybe I'll just peek inside for a second. He commits like that, and with one thing with Yannick Ngakoue, he has the explosiveness. He has athleticism. People want to say he's a little undersized. Well, anytime you have good ball get off, you have good explosiveness, you can easily make up for that, right? So that's what he does here. So this is more of an experienced, kind of like a Pro Bowler type play right here.
You talk about athlete, you talk about athleticism, you talk about get off, you talk about motor.
Yeah.
Well, the last frame of this illustration, man, doesn't this say Yannick Ngakoue all over it? I mean, it looks like Bobby Orr scoring right in front of the net and diving across the ice, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Brent, I'll be honest. You don't need me here to break down this screen cap right here. All you can see is Yannick Ngakoue is 2 feet off the ground, Superman diving into Mixon and trying to make the tackle. Now, he doesn't make the tackle.
No.
Miles Jack comes to clean it up. But he disrupts the entire play. He causes chaos. And anytime you're playing on the defensive line, your main goal, whether it's in the backfield, on the line of scrimmage, you want to cause chaos. And right here, Superman is causing chaos.
I'm telling you what, they're going to take this segment to that Jags front office in contract negotiations.
I
They're
hope
going to
so.
take this
Well,
segment right
hey,
here.
and listen-
Eventually, when we're done with it, they're going to
Yeah.
take this 10, 12 minutes, and they're
Yeah.
going to say, look at this guy. And
Yeah.
to me, this frame shows what he's all about,
Yeah,
man.
so Jan, I mean, if you get a little cut, be sure to send some my way. But listen, I'm a little biased. It's up to me. I don't think the salary cap exists. If I was a GM, I'd be going into the games after the wins. You get a bonus. You get a bonus. Josh Lambo, nice field goal. Here's a little bonus for you. So, yeah.
One last thought, just to encapsulate this for people that are just listening.
Sure.
Yannick Ngakoue is in Superman position.
Yeah.
Because Mixon did get through the hole to a degree.
Yeah.
But the only way to slow him down for Yannick is to throw his body. I mean, just not
Correct.
care about his body at all. And at least slow him down for Miles Jack to make a play. Heck of a play.
Well, let's keep in mind, too, if Jan isn't here making this play, who knows what happens?
It's one-on-one against Miles Jack. He can bounce it outside. All those things might be a big gainer.
Correct.
All right, let's go to number 2 here on the wall that says it all. Once again, we're on ESPN 690. You're listening to this. We're on ESPN690.com. You're streaming us. Hopefully you do that a lot. But you can also watch us on the video platforms. And this is what we want to give you a little bit more of on the video side of things, because it's a great illustration of a guy that's turning into, I don't know if great is the word, but very good to great to elite. Who knows where the ceiling is for Yannick Ngakoue. All right, take us to, we go backwards a little bit in terms of chronological order.
Yeah.
And this is 2:59 to go in the first quarter. And this will be a play that looked like a reverse.
Correct.
That Yannick Ngakoue ends up making a big tackle for a loss.
Huge play.
And by the way, this is a huge play because it felt like, there's some momentum on the Jags side, but it got shifted to Cincinnati with all that field position change, if you remember.
Yeah.
So this kind of knocks Cincinnati off their rhythm.
Exactly. And keep in mind, this is a copycat league in the NFL, right? So here's why I say it's a copycat league. We have trips to the left of Ngakoue. So there's a tight end on the line and then trips on the other side. So there's 3 receivers lined up across from Ngakoue. Why I say it's a copycat league? Because this formation coming up right here is a lot like Carolina ran, all right? And
where they seal everybody?
They seal everybody, and it's all about confusing the defensive end. It's about confusing the linebackers. It's having that cannon fodder in the background, making them guess a little bit. Well, Yannick Ngakoue right now was on his P's and Q's, because as the play develops right here, he understands that the tight end goes down. And if you're in a wide 9, Brent, if you're standing up in a 2-point stance and the tight end's supposed to come out to you, but he goes down, something's probably coming back. So Ngakoue feels the tight end going down. So that can either mean a couple things. It's going to be a boot. It's going to be kind of like this handoff reverse that you're seeing here. Or it could be like a quarterback rollout. But he knows something's coming back, because why would they leave him wide open like that? So he understands that. So his keys go from the tight end to the next guy up. So Ngakoue sees the tight end go down, and now he's like, all right, what's coming at me?
And I'll tell you what, in this frame, next frame, there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on.
I'm not sure. Does Cincinnati even run this well? Because there's 4 players in about a 3-yard space.
Yes.
And I don't know who's getting the ball eventually.
Yeah.
But, eventually this is just a little bit of a pitch to the wide receiver. Again, it kind of plays like a reverse.
It does, absolutely. And listen, we have defensive linemen going one way, defensive linemen going the other way. I mean, we don't know what's happening right now.
And let me interrupt you, because this is a good way to beat the Jags defense, because they're fast and a lot of times over-aggressive.
Correct.
So anything misdirection, of course, catches the Jags. And sometimes you can catch good players being overly aggressive.
Exactly.
And the Jaguars have been beat on that in the past. This is an attempt to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So now, if you're an okay player, if you're a decent player, what Yannick Ngakoue would probably do right here is get underneath this cutter and try to make the play going towards Mixon, because everything is dictated with the fact that the ball is going to go outside opposite field to him, right? So Ngakoue is thinking, all right, well, maybe I can just cut inside and make the play. But Ngakoue is not just he's not just a basic player. He's a little more experienced. He's playing for a contract. He's got a lot on the line. So Ngakoue, he understands the fact that there's a puller coming his way. Whether it's a tight end, a running back, or wide receiver, something's coming his way. Ngakoue is not concerned in the backfield right now. He's not looking in the backfield. He's looking at the puller coming his way. And he understands that if he takes on the puller, and I'm not saying when I take on the puller with 2 hands, just with your shoulder, stay in square. We talked about it before on the show, Brent. You want to stay square. If he stays square, he can make the play. So basically what happens is the puller comes to him. It's a wide receiver. I like my odds on a wide receiver. Yannick Ngakoue.
Me too.
The wide receiver.
It's Auden Tate is who it is. It's a big wide receiver.
Don't get twisted. He's like 6'4", 6'5", 250. So call him a tight end if you want. Either way, I like my odds with Yannick Ngakoue.
Auden Tate's not calling him undersized.
No, exactly. So basically what happens is Auden Tate tries to block him, and Ngakoue says no thanks, sheds the block, and makes the play
10 to 15 yards in the backfield.
Yeah,
Huge
it's
play.
a big
Technical
loss on this play, and a huge loss. So, again, these are two illustrations of Yannick Ngakoue against the run.
Correct.
He has been – it's not even that he's been criticized. What people do is they try to poke holes. Okay, where are your weaknesses? Where are your strengths? Well, his strength is as a pass rusher and been knocking that football away, right? Forced fumbles early on in his career. Well, okay, what is he maybe less great at, less good at? Well, that would be against the run because he's not 255 pounds, and maybe just that's the knock against him. So my question is, if that's the knock, is he getting better against the run? Is he going to school on the run? Is this a focus from his standpoint of saying, I am going to be better in 2019 against the run? And are these illustrations of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a few things. I think it's a guy that's taking pride in what he does. I think it's a guy that has heard, people talk about how maybe he lacks the run game a little bit, so he took that to heart. I think it's a matter of fact that he's getting more experience now. He's seeing different looks and everything, and maybe studying film a little more. And when you put those things together, that's when you make these great plays, in the backfield. Now, don't get it twisted. Yannick Ngakoue is not built like Khalil Mack. He's not your prototypical, base 4-3 defensive end. But he doesn't have to be. People have this preconceived notion of what a good defensive end looks like, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's Khalil Mack or Julius Peppers back in the day. It takes all shapes and sizes. Von Miller, good at playing the run. Guess what? Von Miller, Brent, probably like your size right now. But Von Miller's on the shorter side. Size doesn't matter, man. If you play with get off and have aggressiveness, you can make plays. That's what Yannick Ngakoue did right here.
All right, time does matter, so we have to move on here on the wall that says it all. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. I did notice that off the wall is your shirt. Very nice.
How do you like that?
For the wall that says it all.
Didn't plan it, but there you go.
Our last illustration, and a play that only two players in Jacksonville Jaguars history have made from the defensive line position, the pick six for Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I want you to hear what Yannick Ngakoue saw, and then you can describe it. We'll put a bow on this segment here on ESPN 690. Check it out.
Coach Rebs always talk about just reading screens and things of that nature, and I felt like a soft set from that tackle, and I could tell when 25's in the game, he's more of a passing running back, 28's more the runner, so I kind of figured it was like kind of a screen.
That's Yannick Ngakoue, student of the game, right?
You have to be.
Coachable player. Film room, all those things. I think you heard it from Yannick Ngakoue. He showcased it in a pivotal. This is the decider, man.
Yeah.
You can say number 91 won him the football game on Sunday. This is the thing. This is the play that stretched the game out.
Absolutely. So let's go to it quick. So same kind of formation here as the first play we broke down. 2-by-2, basically 2 wide receivers on the right side, 2 wide receivers on the left side. And
bunched up.
And then they're bunched up. Yep, they're tired of the line of scrimmage, okay? We got Yannick Ngakoue sitting on the right side of the formation, kind of like in that 9 technique. There's a tight end split out, but he's basically in a 9. We'll call it a 9. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Taven Bryan and Yannick Ngakoue, they're going to run a game. A game I like to call the Tex game. What does a Tex game mean? Tackle first and second. So, Brent, one of the hardest things I had trouble.
Can we run the game on right now?
Yeah,
can we do it?
Run the game?
You want to be Taven Bryan?
Okay, yeah. So I'm Taven Bryan, you're Yannick Ngakoue. Okay,
good. He's gonna make more money. So.
Yeah, we'll see. So basically, what happens is if we're rushing right now, I'm Taven Bryan. I'm going first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in front of you, and I'm going to set the pick on the tackle,
and I'm going
right around me. Exactly.
Simple as that. That's
Simple
the game.
Simple as that.
Okay.
So now here's what Taven Bryan. Listen, the hardest thing to do as a defensive end or defensive tackle that I learned coming up in the league is to identify the screens and the draws. Why? Because especially on a 2nd and 10, it's a passing situation, right? Like you have your ears pinned back. You're ready to pass rush. You're ready to get paid, right? You get some of those quarterback sacks.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to recognize sometimes that the offensive linemen, they want you to overcommit. They want you to go to the quarterback and try to sack him, right? Because that's when you set up the screens. They set you up a little bit. So now here, with Taven Bryan's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Taven Bryan he's the game setter. He's the guy that's going to set the pick for Yannick Ngakoue. Taven Bryan sets the pick. Now, the tackle that he sets the pick on wants him to go upfield, right? Because that's part of the screen game. Taven Bryan has no idea right now that the screen's occurring. Why? Because he's setting the pick. He just thought, you know what? I set a good pick. They didn't know it was coming.
Here I come. I'm going to get a sack.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, Taven Bryan's a lot of things. Probably the top one, aggressive. He has really good aggressiveness, and hopefully we'll see that this Sunday as he's getting the starting spot. So we have the aggressiveness here of Taven Bryan going to the quarterback, Dalton. Dalton sees this, obviously. He's a little nervous.
And we're on the screen grab we're on, if you're just listening.
Yeah.
I mean, Taven Bryan now is about a yard away from hitting Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's about ready to throw off his back foot.
Yeah, exactly. So now we got that. So now let's go down to
We flip this around. This is a 180 view of that.
So this is you. So you're coming around second, right?
Yeah.
Now you would think, well, you're kind of coming around scot-free. Why not keep going? Well, Ngakoue, once again, the eye disciplined, the instincts. They take Ngakoue to the ball. When Ngakoue comes around, he understands that the guard takes him for a split second. The guard kind of pushes him, but doesn't go with him, which makes zero sense if you're Ngakoue.
A little bump and run by the guard.
A little bump and run. As soon as Ngakoue feels that guard bumping him, just kind of give him a little push, but not like a usual pass set, Ngakoue knows something's up. So once he knows something's up, he stops rushing after the quarterback, and he retraces his steps. So now when they say retrace your steps, all that means is you go back to where you came from because it'll take you to the ball. So Ngakoue stops, retraces his steps, and goes back to where he came from at the defensive end position. What happens after that?
Well, the pick.
Yep, the pick. Taven Bryan puts pressure on Dalton. Dalton throws a bad ball. Ngakoue goes back to where he came from. Ball right in his hands. 888 out the gate.
Pick 6, and look, Stuart Weber would like us all to acknowledge that's Stuart Weber right there with Yannick Ngakoue running right at him.
Very nice.
But anyway, this is all like what Yannick just said earlier, just a couple minutes ago. His film preparation, because Giovanni Bernard, 25, not 28, Joe Mixon is in the game. So he's like, wait a minute, sometimes they like to do this. On top of that, the feel, the instincts, and then making a play. By the way, some guys drop that football.
Absolutely.
It's an easy play, but those guys aren't receivers. They're big men rushing the quarterback for a reason. Showed good hands. Obviously, athleticism. Walks into the end zone.
Yeah, showed great hands, athleticism. You could tell he's a defensive lineman because the celebration was a little lacking in the end zone, but it's okay, man. He still got the points.
All right. Well, here's the deal, Yannick Ngakoue. I think we just got you more money. Bring this to the front office. This is it in a nutshell. This is a resume game. Isn't it?
Absolutely. No, I mean, this is a statement game to say the least, because I get it. Defensive ends, when teams are evaluating defensive ends, it's all about the quarterback sacks, the pressures, right? Well, you know what's better than a quarterback sack or a pressure? A touchdown. A touchdown. Yes.
That's Austin Lane. We're here at the wall that says it all. Yannick Ngakoue playing some really good football in a contract year. He's going to get a lot of money. We'll talk more about the Jags coming up on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 right after this as we go back upstairs.
Golick and Wingo are coming to Jacksonville for the Florida-Georgia game.
Well, hey, it's Mike Golick, and want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works.
What better way could you spend your Friday morning? Take your time, we'll wait. Well, looks like we'll be seeing you at Intuition Ale Works. Everyone's invited, but only a few will get the VIP treatment.
To register for your chance to win VIP passes, go to ESPN690.com.
The home of the Action Sports Jax Dream 18 can be your home course, too. The golf club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. Family owned and operated. Cooler temperatures are here, and Southampton is a fun course to play. The golf club at Southampton offers club membership programs starting at just $79. You have to see their new practice facility. It's a player-friendly golf course, and it will be your gateway to a great time with the family or with your buddies. The golf club at Southampton. Call 904-287-PLAY. That's 904-287-PLAY.
What's up, Jacksonville? Angie here, president of Angie Staffing. If you're finding it harder and harder to find the right candidates or your ads are letting you down, call me, Angie Staffing, 904-703-8880. I have over 20 years of experience right here in Jacksonville. I can help with anything, accounting, finance, legal, even that one position that's impossible to fill. Angie Staffing, 904-703-8880. We're bringing back the hustle.
Golick and Wingo are coming to Jacksonville for the Florida-Georgia game.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo. I want to invite you to come watch us do our show live from Intuition Ale Works on Friday, November 1st. To register for your chance to win VIP passes, go to ESPN690.com.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and in the iHeartRadio app.
All right, that was fun. The wall that says it all Yannick Ngakoue. If you caught it earlier in the show, well, you caught some of it. So we got the whole thing on there just a short time ago. And we really like doing that on Thursday. We're going to keep it up. Austin's been doing a great job with it. So hopefully there were some good plays from Sunday's game to dissect in the positive way for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brett Martineau, Austin Lane, Coos here to wrap up a show on a Thursday. And then we head out to Ponte Vedra High School tomorrow for our Action Sports Jax Game of the Week. St. Augustine, Ponte Vedra. That game will be on ESPN 690 on all our social media platforms. We'll be out there with the show from 3 to 6 as well. Big game, district championship on the line for the Friday Night Blitz. Tomorrow night we'll be at Ponte Vedra High School. Right now we have to get to the happy hour horn, a little bit late on a Thursday, but here it is.
Nobody come between us. Can't make nobody come between us. Oh, cherry baby.
As the careless party now begin, see the beautiful ladies marching in. There's enough for everyone to win. We're gonna make this party the best thing happening. This is my favorite place. Nothing will replace, no. Nothing. Anything goes, gangsters are rolling, half-face smiling, heads up, think of the rhythm, what you're drinking. Anything goes, hey.
Grab a drink, get a shot, and sip your Star Tenders.
Hey, Vita de Luis recently got a 98 rating, locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, made in Tequila, Mexico, shipped directly to Jack's Beach. Make your own recipes with Vita de Luis tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you'll ever taste. And go visit VitaDeLuis.com. And when you do, and you buy anything there, 50% of the merchandise will go to help our friends in the Bahamas with the Treasure Key Relief Fund and Hopetown Rising. Go to VitaDeLuis.com. Okay, we have to go to Stay in Your Lane. What do you got for us? Fire it up. Yeah. We have small victories here on the show.
That's
people.
what it's all about.
Small victories.
Hey, are we 2 for 2 right now?
Well,
in
the
past 2 days. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, Brent, you just said it. Small victories.
Small
my
victories.
friend.
We have a streak going.
Yes, we do. All right, so cruise control, Brent. It's going in the world of soccer. More specifically, the Jordanian Soccer League. This past night, there was a soccer league going on. Can you please cut the music now? We're good. Sorry. All right. So in the Jordanian soccer, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
All right. Streak's over.
Yeah, I know.
Streak is over.
We were 1 for 2.
All right.
Well, it's hard to be serious when I got that music playing in the background.
All right. You go ahead.
All right. But in a Jordanian soccer league, a soccer player of Muslim faith, who was wearing a hijab, basically what happened was the hijab fell off. For those people at home not knowing what that is, it's the article of clothing that covers their head because it's part of their religion, right? So it falls off during the soccer game, and her opponents see this happen and they stop playing. The clock's still running, but they stop playing and they surround her so no one can see her face while she fixes, the article of clothing. So I thought it was a really cool thing, man. Some things are obviously bigger than sports. So props out to that, to her opponents and everything like that.
Recognizing culture.
Exactly. Pump your brakes real quick. Last Sunday, Chase Edmonds had the fantasy day of his life, 3 touchdowns under the assumption that David Johnson was going to play for the Cardinals. Let's go to fantasy football expert Matthew Berry and see what he had to say about this.
And then the Arizona Cardinals Twitter account @AZCardinals tweets out at 3:05, little fox holding the sign, just a little cute, whatever it is. You should have started Chase Edmonds in fantasy. Really?
Is that right?
Thanks for that heads up. Oh, I should have started Chase Edmonds in fantasy. Based on what? Because David Johnson had actually practiced more the week before.
Jeez.
So there's a lot more to that video. Matthew. Yeah, there's a lot more to that video. And listen, man, I love fantasy football. Brent, you know that. I take it very seriously. But you're not doing us any favors when you complain about who's not playing.
That's a little much.
Yeah, I agree.
How many fantasy leagues do you think that guy has?
Matthew Berry, man. At least a baker's dozen.
I mean, he's made it big with
For
that.
sure.
Hey, Jaguars All Access tonight. Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. Come on out. 7 o'clock. We'll have Ronnie Harrison along with Calais Campbell. You can watch on Fox 30 as well. Have a good night, everybody.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Astros assistant GM Brandon Taubman is fired today. Not much has gone right for the Astros.